All right. We are starting late today because of technological disparages. I don't know what word I'm looking for. Technological difficulties. I'm your host, as always. And you can find me at Studio Tembo and all other places. I'm on TikTok now. It's pretty fun. Let's go ahead and do the introductions. Brian, go ahead.
My name is Brian. I'm playing Captain Jorad Hage. I have nothing to plug.
Ev.
I am Evelyn Corbin of the Difficult Technicalities. I am playing the Good Doctor and also have nothing to plug.
And the hate of Microsoft.
And the hate of Microsoft.
Yes, I don't know what's on with your sound, but it's not right today.
That's exciting.
More difficulties.
Yeah. More difficulties.
Right.
Jack, go ahead while she's trying to figure that out.
Yes, hello, I'm Jack. I will be playing Commander Urani Ambrose and other fun characters such as Ensign Tong, who we might see more of today. I, however, do have things to plug and a new thing to plug coming up. So you can usually find me over at my own channel, over at twitch.tv/The People's Ascension. It has mostly been Dungeons and Dragons, which takes place on Saturday, and various Let's Plays that I do throughout the evenings during the week. But I am planning a new series coming up in the next few weeks, next 3 to 4 weeks, where I am taking a look at various other tabletop role-playing systems, breaking them down, doing a session 0 with some players, doing a small mini series of somewhere between 4 to 6 episodes, and then doing a deep analysis of the system so I can break it down for you guys and help show people that it's fun and a lot easier to learn a new system than I think everybody really expects. So if that sounds interesting to you, keep an eye out on my Twitter, and you can find me over at Twitter at PPLS Ascension, and I'll be dropping some more announcements for that. Nice. But for now, I'm super excited to see what's coming up with this Klingon Civil War we've got ourselves embroiled in.
Yes.
Real quick, I actually do have something to plug that I forgot about.
Sure.
I am helping out with a Kickstarter called Fight with Spirit. It's a sports anime role-playing game. If that sounds like something you're into, the Kickstarter is live now. Google it and donate if that's your jam.
What's it called again?
Thanks.
Fight with Spirit.
Fight with Spirit. All right.
There's a few Kickstarter RPGs that I've been really interested in. I backed a few recently, but there's a few more that I'm still looking at that I may do for the shop. Also, the idea of doing a more diverse system analysis of other games, it really interests me, especially lately. That's one of the things I'm doing on TikTok. So check everything out, and let's go ahead and do a recap for today's session. Of previous sessions, so that we can know where we're getting into today's session.
While I recap, you can tell me how my volume is.
It's much better.
Oh, okay. So my mic was just turned up too high, that's all. All right, so last session, we started out on the bridge. We started out on the Europa. Mills, Cherka, and Ambrose were set for the mission to ICONIA. I had this in order, and then it just popped off on me.
The mission to ICONIA was interesting.
Right. The mission to ICONIA was indeed very interesting.
I would be happy to if
she seems to have lost her notes.
No, I've got them. I'm just trying to piece shit together.
Go ahead,
right
Brian.
Ahead.
Well, Evelyn can fill in gaps if need be.
There you go.
So our intrepid crew of the Europa split into 2 teams. One team led by Ambrose with Mills and Ensign Cherka went to the Lost Planet in the Romulan system, or in the Romulan territory, where it was thought that the rogue Klingons were devising some kind of we're using Iconian technology to create some kind of augment program. They managed to destroy the facility at the last minute and barely getting out with their lives.
Yep. Seems about accurate. Anybody want to add anything to that?
We took out Morjad, and when we last saw our away team, they had materialized onto a Romulan ship.
Yes.
The Iconian base was taken out by with an overloaded Type 3, which, from what I understand, collapsed the containment field of a Romulan power system, which uses a micro singularity. So there might be some gravitational distortions on this planet that might come up.
Might going forward.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we won't be there, so it shouldn't matter too much.
There
Unless
was
the Romulans hold a grudge.
There was a lot of good back and forth with Ambrose and Toshari. I don't remember how much of that was the episode before last, because we had like 3 episodes that were only like like tiny amounts. So I kind of shoved them all together with my notes, but
most of that was the episode before last.
Okay,
there
cool,
was some at the very beginning of this episode.
Right.
Basically, her letting us know they're going to drop us off and do their best to pick us up, but no promises.
All very cloak and dagger. Nothing promised, nothing assured, nothing at all sanctioned by either side. We're completely rogue operation, me and her.
Yep. All right.
And then on ship side of things,
okay,
O'Connor, I think Tong and the captain had talked to Eva.
We're gonna send her back to school, or at least an on ship tutor system.
Yes. She's going back to online school.
She's heading to the University of Phoenix.
Right. I think that was about where that left. I don't think we actually reinstalled her yet.
Nope.
She's in timeout.
She's in timeout. All right. Anybody else got anything? Or does that sound about right?
About it.
I want to see the Europa blow up more Klingon ships. Let's go.
Maybe.
I'm worried that the Europa might just blow up.
Yeah.
With as technological difficulties for today, maybe if they transfer over.
So I believe the Europa was accompanying Martok as they pursued the other rogue Klingons.
Correct.
To their hidden shipyard, I think was our destination.
No, it wasn't a shipyard. It's they had just taken a planet and Bazakdula? No,
Balduk.
Balduk.
Yeah.
Yes. The Klingons had just Marjad's forces, or Kargan's forces actually specifically, took the planet Balduk, and Martok was going to try to hit back whilst before they had a chance to regroup and like reinforce themselves, hopefully try to catch them in an off balance state. So, and then the Europa was going to assist with that.
Ambrose is really disappointing. He's missing this fight.
Yeah. You got Marjad. So.
Yeah. He had a big mission, which was super important, but I think like deep inside, he really wanted to kick more Klingon ass.
Deep inside and somewhat on the surface.
Yeah.
Depending on what Romulan ship it turns out we've materialized on, you might get that opportunity.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
All right. Speaking of materializing aboard a ship, let's go ahead and do that. It was. Oh man, I lost all my sheets. Here we go. Ambrose, Chirka, and Mills. Yeah, we're gonna have you guys beam up.
Okay.
Just because I don't have anyone else to start right now. So.
Okay.
Also because I'd have kept going with that session if we'd had more time last time.
Got you.
All right, so the three of you beam up. The green energy haze washes out, and you find yourselves aboard what appears to be the same Romulan ship you were on before, and stands there is a couple of security guards, and if I can find her picture, Toshari. There she is. You'll notice that the lighting is a little bit different than it was the last time you were here, but the ship looks pretty much the same. She smiles for just a brief second and says, "Welcome back. I see you were successful."
Do my best to stand up straight because I'm beat half to death, or
Right.
probably a little bit more than half. Mission accomplished, I believe. I don't think we'll be seeing any more of Marjad, but there were quite a number of him down there.
There's a confused look on her face. What do you mean? No, we don't have time for that right now. As the ship rocks from some evident phaser fire, blaster fire, some kind of disruptor fire, something like that.
What's the situation?
Your rescue was attracted some attention. If you'll excuse me, I need to get back to the bridge as quickly as possible. These gentlemen will escort you to your quarters.
Could I be of any assistance? I know my way around tactical systems.
I have no doubt you do, Commander. However, this is still a Romulan ship. With any luck, we will get out of the way and cloak as soon as possible.
Fair enough.
She kind of nods to the three of you, and you see a hesitant look across her face for a second, and then she turns and leaves out the door, and the two guards kind of.
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I do my empathy thing?
Sure.
Again, not invasive, but she seems like she's trying to do something discreet. So I want to see if I can pick anything up.
Sure, go ahead. Give me an insight roll this time.
Okay. Insight command?
Sure. I don't really know how that skill is supposed to work, but that works for me. I'll say because you are the empath that it gives you the opportunity to get a better roll.
Let's see how it goes. Cool.
Not bad,
2 successes.
There's still a definitive level of closure that is unnatural betwixt the two of you. Like it is that level of empathy that you would normally get from other people. You do not necessarily get from her, but in this case, either her guard is down or something else has changed. You get a sense of she wants something more, or she wants you guys to kind of be more part of this, but she just doesn't feel it's comfortable yet. That's pretty where you're getting like a discomfort level.
Okay, I'm not getting the sense that these guards are gonna try to ambush us in the corridor or anything.
No.
Okay.
No,
and when you say unnatural, do you mean like normal Romulan unnatural, or like?
No, it is beyond that.
Okay.
Either she has some level of training, or there is something else going on that's preventing you from being able to get a good read on her.
Okay, cool.
So, with that, the ship rocks a couple more times, and the two guards begin escorting you to the to your quarters. And that leaves me a good spot to do the intro and then come back. Okay, so back aboard the ship that you guys are on, that the game is named after, the Europa. I don't know what that happened.
The starship, what's its hull?
The starship, what's its hull? Back aboard that, you guys are, I assume, headed towards the planet, or towards the system, I should say. Did you have anything else you wanted to do before you got there? I don't know what you had planned necessarily, Hage, but I was going to start us out en route.
No, that sounds fine.
All right. Who else is on the bridge? We know it was. Oh, Koba. That's right, Koba. You're basically playing the entire bridge crew right now.
Yeah.
No, Connor would be up on the bridge.
All right. Well, 3/4 of the command bridge. Silva's the pilot, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got Jasheen was going to probably be setting up to go.
She's got her flight crew ready to scramble.
Getting the flight crew ready. You see that long-range sensors indicate that there is combat already underway in the system. You are not far from it. It is a nebulous system with a planet nearby. Sensors indicate. I'm going to make one roll. This will get you guys through all the way through like the beginning of the combat and everything else. So go ahead and give me a science roll, O'Connor. And tactical can assist.
Roll science.
Roll science and tactical can assist.
Yes, I know, but what science? Control science.
Control science or reason and science. Either one works. Really doesn't matter. At your leisure. Ouch. That's probably what? That's 2 successes though, I assume, because that's a success from Koba, I assume.
No, it's not.
No, okay. No assist from the ship at the moment because Eva's doing her thing somewhere else. Oh, excuse me. All right. Well, one is still successful enough to get the basic information. It is a nebulous system near a inhabited world, Balduk. The nebula is one that will obscure sensors and has some volatility. It is not as volatile as ones you've been in before, but it does have some volatility. Much of the combat actually appears to be happening on the edge or in the nebula itself, as if a group of Klingons either came in through there or were hiding in there. It's hard to say from the roll that you got and the where you're coming in at. But let's go ahead and throw this up there for you guys to have. That's just an image of ships. It doesn't really matter. There are distinctly 2 categories of ships. There are the Martok's vessels, and there are Kargan's ships. They are all older style Klingon ships, so it's none of the newer ones that you've been associating so far with Martok. Marjad. My names are right. Just like I have them in front of me. I could just look at the sheet, but no, I'm not doing that. Marjad and the newer enhanced Klingon. So these appear to be just basically 2 Klingon normal fleets going at it. The battle appears to be pretty intense at the moment. There is one other Federation starship in the area, and it is on its way. It is not there yet. It is the USS Mackinac, which was a Reliant class vessel. This thing here. Again, not particularly relevant. I just like the picture. So there you go. Also, that's... What
I was thinking Defiant. I'm like, that's not the Defiant. Oh, okay.
No, Reliant. Yeah. Reliant, yes. I actually like the ship a lot. If I'd seen this sooner, I might have done one of these instead because it looks like a Miranda, but better.
Yeah, it looks like an upgraded Miranda. I like that.
Yeah, I like it a lot. So
yeah.
That's the USS Mackinac. It is en route to your facility, or to your location.
Can we just... I mean, I could take or leave Eva. Like, can we just...
Anyways, that is what's going on in the system. Do you have any questions you would like to ask? I will give you guys. I'm assuming you have a free momentum somewhere from some reason, so you just use that if you have any question you want to ask, or any tactics or things you want to set up before you get there.
Yeah, I mean, I have some stuff I definitely want to set up before we get there.
Okay.
Yeah, so Churid is going to say intercom to all decks. bring us to red alert.
Okay.
Attention, crew of the Europa. We're entering a battle we're outmatched for. If it was any other crew, I would say, if it was any other crew and any other circumstances, I would pull back and wait for backup. We do not have that luxury. We, somewhere in that fleet is a plague ship, one that will be bringing countless diseases to other worlds. We need to stop them. And I know we're capable of that. So I need everybody to do their best, bring their best to the situation, and stop and save people we've never met, and save these people who we've never met.
Cool.
I would like to do a rally action, if that's okay.
Sure.
I will give you one threat to roll 3 dice. That is 2 successes. So I generate 2 momentum.
Okay. 2 momentum acquired.
Yay.
All right. You guys are heading into the combat. Do you have anything else you want to do before you get into this stuff? Noting that because you're playing 3 of the main bridge characters, this is probably going to be somewhat narrative. And by somewhat, I mean mostly narrative.
Sure. Jorad will say to Mills, or not Mills, O'Connor. Bring up targeting solution. I want you to scan for the Wrath. That's our first target. Find her, and we'll make a beeline for her when we do.
All right. Your original scan of the system did not notice the Wrath as being there. You did not see any Klingon ships of the new design, of which the Wrath was one. However, you can't see deep into the nebula. You can't see very far into the nebula, so it's really kind of hard to say what might still be in there.
Also, Klingon space fights are really cool because they're constantly cloaking and decloaking and swarming around, so you never know how many there actually are.
Exactly.
Are we able to detect the general ship?
Yes, both Kargan's ship and Martok's ship are there.
Okay.
So, and they're again, as Ambrose points out, they are cloaking in and out quite frequently. It is difficult to get a good solid number on how many ships are there on either side, but you know for sure that Martok side was probably 10 ships at least, if not closer to 15 or 20 ships. So you might be, and it looks Kargan's fleet might be similar in size to that. So again, hard to say with the cloaking in and out.
Comms, I'd like to open up a channel to Kargan's flagship.
Okay. Let me see. I've got him somewhere. Give me a second. General Kargan on screen.
General Kargan, I'm extremely disappointed to see you still fighting the Duras's war.
I serve the Empire, Captain. Stay out of this Federation. It is not your fight.
Is the Empire prone to using biological warfare now?
He just looks confused. I know nothing about biological warfare.
I'm sending over our readings from the planet, the one Dionysus.
Dionysus.
I'm sending over our readings from a secret Klingon facility on Dionysus. We have clear evidence that they were developing a biological weapon. That your new allies are developing a biological weapon.
He looks back and the ship shakes a bit. I can do the shaking. There you go. It is interesting, Captain. I do not have time for this right now. And he shouts out an order in Klingon, which, if you speak Klingon, is an attack order on one of their ships.
Your crew is going to die honorless defending pataks like this.
He kind of looks to the side and looks back at you and then nods, and the screen goes dark.
Well, it was worth a try.
Coming out of warp, what is your primary target without the other ship being there? You're gonna go after Kargan, or you're gonna head for somebody, just the nearest, whatever ship is the most in distress. You're gonna assist them. What's your plan for when you first come out of warp?
I think we should get in formation with Martok and defend in a defensible position.
All right.
I don't see any immediate high value targets, so let's be conservative.
Okay, so let's do a couple rolls real quick. Hage, give me a either daring or reason, your choice as to how you want to run the combat as far as the way you're commanding the ship, and command roll. And then I'm gonna say Jisa. Sorry. How about you give me a daring and command roll to start with, or con. I'll do con would also be fine. Daring and con to see how the ship is doing in so we have some basis of how you're going to be doing with the fighters.
I'll spend the momentum. Does team dynamics apply during this, since we are working together with the Klingons?
Sure.
Okay, then 2 successes.
And then Jisa, I would say that either electronic warfare or fighter craft would work, depending on what your ship is doing during this.
All right.
If you're trying to run interference for the ship, then I'll say electronic warfare. If you're being aggressive, then we'll say fighter craft.
I think that comes down to the captain's orders. It sounds like he said defensible position. So yeah, we're probably scrambling and trying to mess with targeting systems and interference and shooting down torpedoes and whatnot.
Right. So let's do electronic warfare. Not that it matters, a big difference either way, but go ahead and do that.
Okay. Cool.
And that's 2 successes. So we had 2 and 2, right? Is that where we're at?
Mm-hmm.
You each had 2. All right, good. Let me make a note. I don't keep paper at my desk. I need to keep paper while I'm sitting here. 4. All right. Let's. And I rolled pretty well. All right. So when you first come out of combat, the fighters depart and begin running scrambling interference and whatnot. The first thing that engages you is one of the Cavort class ships from Kargan's fleet. It doesn't really have it can't get close to the Europa, particularly because the fighters are keeping it at bay. Hage, you're running after targeting one of the larger ships, one of the Vorchas, that's been laying into some of the Martok's forces, and you managed to break up that run that they were having, and they break off and pursue something else, which leaves that ship from Martok's fleet to get back into the action. Things are going pretty quickly and moving around fast in combat. You guys are moving through the fleet. You're not taking a whole lot in the way of damage yet because the fighters are keeping people at bay. I do want to get back to the Romulan ship, so we'll come back to this in a second. Back aboard the Romulan ship. There is definitely things are. As you're making your way to your rooms, the ship rocks a few times, and a conduit explodes near one of the guards and bursts, and he goes to the ground and is clearly severely injured. The other guard quickly looks to attending to him, throws his disruptor to his side, and not to his side, but slings it, and is seeing to him. He says, looks to one of the three of you and help me get him to sick bay.
Mills will help lift him up.
Yep, so we'll.
Okay. He points you going this way, and kind of looks at the commander, and if you need your wounds looked at, come too.
I'll stick with you.
I assume Chirka is also going to go.
Mm-hmm.
The three of you make your way to the. She doesn't need to be here. Why are you here? Go away. You got the three of you head to the sick bay with the Romulan in tow, not in tow, but literally being carried by the two of you. When you get to the sick bay, there is a lot going on. It's extremely busy. The ship appears to be suffering some heavy casualties. The sick bay is roughly the same size as the Europa sick bay, so it's it's got a fairly, decent capacity, and they're pretty closely reaching their capacity. There's several doctors who are working hard. GMS momentum chip.
I just clicked the thing on the thing and it did that. Ignore it.
Yeah, well, you can't hit it anyway. It doesn't matter.
I'm not even sure what that was.
Yeah. So, but yes, there's a lot going on. There's a heavy fog going in the room. Like obviously some electrical fires have been happening nearby. Maybe in the hallway, possibly in the sick bay. It's hard to say. The doctors that you can see are frantically trying to help people. As they come in, as you go in, you set the guy on one of the Romulan down on one of the triage beds nearby, and one of the doctors comes up and quickly looks at the injured Romulan, scans him real quick, and just shakes his head, and then takes a look at you, Commander, and looks up and down and says, I don't know human physiology, but sit down.
Sure.
Starts going over you and quickly scanning. Mills and Chirka, are you guys going to do anything while the Ambrose is getting tended to, or are you just going to kind of wait?
There's probably really not much that I could see from the sick bay what they might need shoring up as far as tactical systems.
Right.
So there's really not much for me to do.
Okay.
As a reminder, if any of their doctors happen to notice, Mills is also looking a little rough. She won't say anything, but
Ambrose was at 0 health, so
yeah.
I know that's why. Like
he's way worse off than I am.
Did you have any injuries? No, you avoided all your injuries, right?
I avoided injuries like 3 times.
Right, which is why I'm assuming you're still pretty badly.
Yeah,
injured.
I am.
Not injured, but beat up and heavily bruised.
Yeah. Like there was a second where he was just going to be like, "Don't worry about it," and then he realized like he was barely standing.
Yes. Mills, you never avoided injury, right?
I don't.
Or I don't know if you
no.
did or not.
I took the duck tang to the shoulder and did not avoid that injury.
Right.
So actually, she's got a giant gaping wound in her shoulder.
Yeah. So one of the nurses comes over real quick and hands you hands Chirka a dermal regenerator. Use this. And then points to Mills, and then moves on to the next patient. So Chirka, if you want to help out there, you can give me a medical roll, because that's something she's good at.
Okay. I'll spend a momentum on it.
Oh.
Well, that is a complication on a medical roll.
I'm gonna take that for me though, because I need momentum. So,
all right.
You don't want to like rupture a lung or something?
Yeah. She just sticks the whole thing right in Chirka's, or Chirka just sticks the whole dermatroner right inside Mills's shoulder. Like, there, that'll work.
It works better from the inside.
If that's a control roll, I did get 1 success. So
okay. You're tending to the wound. It takes you a couple seconds to figure out the technology that you're holding in your hand. Like it's significantly different enough from Federation technology that it takes you a second to math out the on button. But yeah, you get to healing, and I'll take those 2 momentum, or those 2 threat for me for the other combat, because I'm gonna want those.
Threat.
What's that?
2 threat.
So a complication, if I take it as a threat, gives me 2 threat. So
good to know.
Yeah, I believe that's consistent across all the games too, which is one of the few things that's consistent across all the games. So yes, you guys are in sick bay, and that is what is happening there at the moment. Unless you guys have anything else you want to role play right there, I will jump around. Back aboard the Europa.
Ignore
Oh.
that.
Open, I says. Kova's way back there. We're lost. The combat continues. Go ahead and give me another. So before we roll anything else, Kargan's ships are not getting the upper hand for necessarily, but things are very back and forth. Every time the Federation allied side gets any kind of advantage, it seems that Marjad changes his tactics and doesn't regain the upper hand, but certainly keeps things at a level even keel. There's a lot of ships taking a lot of heavy damage. Several that are no longer in combat on both sides. Things are getting rough, and the fighters are starting to take closer in. They're not taking damage necessarily. Like you're not blowing up any fighters, but they're starting to get tighter and tighter around the Europa. It's becoming harder and harder to fly them in the ever enclosing assault that is happening. Like every time a ship is decloaking to attack you guys, it is coming closer and closer each time it decloaks. So you're having to get closer and closer on your defense to the ship. Go ahead and let's do what do you guys want to do? Do you want to do any piloting checks? You want to try to gain the upper hand in some way?
Yes, I would like to do that.
All right. Which one? Piloting?
Well, what I would like to do is the Europa has really good sensors. I would like to use the cloaking doctrine that we developed early on in this campaign to try to map out the cloaked ships and feed that data to the Klingons.
Okay. I'm trying to think what kind of advantage that would actually give. I'm trying to think how that would work mechanically in game. Go ahead and give me have O'Connor give me a roll, and Koba can assist.
Can I assist with Jorad instead with advisor? Because
sure,
Jorad's idea.
Sure.
Okay.
Presume my computer analysis systems would apply here.
Yes. I'm guessing that's 2 successes.
Yeah.
No, that is
one for you and one for Mage.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. You managed to capture some of the data. Obviously, with so many ships moving around and everything else, it's getting a solid map because ships that are cloaking and decloaking and recloaking and decloaking. But what you can do is you can certainly get a slight advantage, and you're able to detect them a little bit sooner in their decloak and relay that information, which will help get them to push back off of your ships a little bit more, so they're not to give more maneuverability and room, which will allow. Go ahead and give me a combat check, Jisa.
Okay.
An actual, you're actually, as if it were a normal round of combat, you are going to fight with your fighters.
All right. So that is another daring con, or
I believe it's daring con. How did we decide to do that? Let's see.
Yeah.
Flight gets a single task and a single minor action. It's the co-pilot, which we're not doing that right now. The entire flight acts as one. When a flight consists of blah blah blah, doesn't matter. You get the additional combat dice, and yeah, it's just basically a piloting, a standard combat test. So it'd be daring and security, I suspect.
Okay. Cool.
You'd also get your maneuverability if you wanted to use your maneuver. So you get a flight check and a attack check, basically.
Right. Yeah. So I will do one of those flight check things. I was Okay.
Yeah, so your flight task basically would be something like an attack maneuver or a defensive maneuver or something along those lines.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I did not prep Starship Combat before this game like I prepped actual
Right.
combat before the other one. Yeah, so I will make what I believe is called an attack run.
Okay.
That's how that works. So that would is that a separate role to set that up, or is that just
It's part of your combat role. So
part of my
it
combat?
is a separate task. So we're assuming that you have co-pilots in your ships because we talked about that last
Yeah.
time, which
Yeah.
means you can do a single additional non-combat, non-attack task,
Right. Mhm.
which is your pilot doing that. And then you can do the task of actually shooting the weapons. So you're setting up the attack run with your first roll, and then you're doing the attack run with the second roll.
Right. Okay. Why is this book so difficult?
It's not a
Where's my cheat
laid
sheet?
out book.
What are you looking for?
I'm just looking to see how I do the things that I am being said I am doing.
So an attack roll is just a flight action difficulty 2.
Okay, so daring.
Whether or not that's actually the way it works, that's the way we're gonna do it right now.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay.
Just to keep the things moving along.
I only got one.
Okay. So you don't get into good position, but you still get the flight in. You're still maneuvering an attack formation. You just don't get the bonus from an attack formation. Basically, just because of the way things are moving. Actually, no. With Hage's plan, I'm going to say the difficulty was only 1 because he's gotten you to be able to push things back. So that succeeds.
Okay.
So you managed to get the advantage on your attack roll, which will basically lower the difficulty of the attack roll. So now you can make your attack roll and see what kind of damage you do. And that includes the additional dice for multiple fighters.
Right. So that one.
Control
What's that,
plus
Brett?
security, assisted by the ship's weapons security.
Right.
And the difficulty is 2 for energy weapons and 3 for torpedoes.
Right. Which would be 1 less because of the advantage.
Control security, you said.
Yes.
Okay. We don't have any momentum. I'm not going to worry about it. The dice are not with me today.
Still 1 success, which is all you need. So go ahead and roll damage and see if we can take out one ship or 2.
Okay. Since the
One ship or
last
not one ship.
since the last combat, when I unfortunately lost one, did we get a new fighter built since then? Am I back up to my 6?
We'll say 5 for now.
Okay, so that's a +3 combat dice.
Right.
Okay, so it's the 7 I normally roll, and then another 3 on top of that.
Right.
If I'm reading this correctly.
Yeah. So it's every fighter above 2 adds 1. So
Right.
the third one adds 1. Yeah.
I'm actually down to 3 ships, or 5 ships, so it would be a +3 instead of a +4. So it's 7 dice is how that works out.
Sure. I don't know how much damage the fighter actually does at the moment. I don't have it in front of me. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 2 effects. All right. We'll assume that. Yeah, I'm assuming you're going to assign some of those to like penetration and stuff like that.
Yes.
Or well, that's not how that works, but yes, because we're still keeping it fairly narrative here. So you managed to make a good attack run on one of the ships that keeps harassing the Europa, and you do a significant amount of damage to that ship. Its cloak is no longer functional. It begins to kind of drift off, and trying to get out of the combat into a position where it can probably do some repairs. In the meantime, let's do an attack on the Europa.
5 base damage, by the way.
What's that?
The fighter does 5 base damage.
Okay.
The Federation attack fighter stats are on the crew sheet.
Okay. Yeah, I have a different sheet open at the moment, so I didn't look.
Yeah, but I'm saying for Jack's reference.
Right.
Okay. Oh, I see.
Did you put them on under starships?
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think when I filled in this this sheet, that was back before we determined which stat block we were doing, because we were looking back and forth between two different ones.
Right.
So if that's the case, 5 plus then the 3 would be 8 dice instead of 6. So I would have got 2 more dice if you care.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
The damage is
Yeah,
the
we can-
damage.
yeah.
So the Europa is attacked. Go ahead and give me a piloting check, Mills. Not Mills, Silva.
Okay. Is this setting the difficulty?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll assume that's the difficulty.
So I will generate a threat for this. To roll 3 dice.
Get a complication.
And assuming my helm focus applies,
It does.
that is 4 successes.
Okay.
So not bad.
It's 4 successes and a complication. So you're avoiding any particular damage at the moment. Some minor damage here and there, but you still haven't suffered any real breaches. Shields are at like 75% or so. However, because of the complication, you're being driven. They're clearly driving you towards the nebula, and there's not a whole lot you've been able to do to avoid that. You're avoiding the damage and avoiding the heavy combat that would endanger the Europa, but they're definitely driving you towards the nebula in a way that you are unable to avoid at the moment, which I assume the captain would also see.
Yeah, I would like to avoid doing that. So I'll tell our crew to break formation. We're obviously being corralled here. So we should break that formation, even if it means we take some licks.
Okay. Okay. You're gonna
do what the enemy wants you to do.
right. So we'll come back to that. You break off from formation and begin a different attack pattern, which is going to leave you slightly more vulnerable in the next scene.
The fighters scramble from the attack run before to a more defensive formation again?
If you'd like, sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Back aboard the Romulan ship. The sickbay is filling up heavily. Ambrose, you've gotten some stress back. Let's say you get about half your stress back. Normally you get all your stress back when a scene changes, but for the purposes of narration, we'll say you get about half yours back. And Fiona, you get about halfway back to whatever full is for you. Because I assume you weren't at 0.
No, I was at 8 of. I had taken 8 of 14 stress.
Right, so halfway back from 8 to 14.
Okay.
Chirka, you didn't really get hurt during that fight, did you?
I didn't get shot.
Yeah, nice. While you were there in sickbay, again, things are getting pretty desperate in there. The ship is taking harder and harder maneuvers. You can actually begin to feel the ship's inertial compensators aren't really compensating anymore, or at least they're not compensating super well anymore. So people are getting kind of thrown around a lot. You also begin to hear what sounds like energy signals, transporter signals in the hallways. What are you guys going to do?
I just kind of look at Ambrose with and I play.
Yeah, as soon as I hear that, I do catch Mill's eye, and the Romulan guard that was brought into sickbay, he was laid down. I assume he had a phaser or a rifle or something slung over him.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just going to grab that, spin around the doorway, and see. Well, 1, if anyone protests, and 2, if there's anyone I could shoot.
Did they take our weapons?
They have
Mine
not
exploded.
Yeah, his
Oh,
exploded.
that's right, yours exploded.
Right, but you still have yours, and I think Fiona, you still have a Klingon disruptor or Klingon disruptor as well. Because you stole one of those, didn't you?
I took both of them and gave one to Yeah, I think I did give one to Cherka.
Okay.
I think I tried to hand it to Ambrose, and he was like, "No, I don't want that shit. I got
No,
my."
she's still using a phaser rifle. She wouldn't have taken a Klingon
Oh.
disruptor.
Still, I think one of you has one. I think.
Yeah,
If
I
not,
have one for sure, and the duck tang.
yeah. If not,
and,
there
and
are.
the phaser rifle. Oh
Right.
no, my phaser rifle's shot. It's all gooey.
Oh right, that's right.
And we do still have those 2 random security guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of them might have the extra weapon
Right.
if
I
nobody
think
else
you did
wanted
have
it.
one of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there are. Everyone has weapons. Is really what I'm getting at. And if you didn't, there are some laying around in sickbay right now because sick people don't need
Yeah.
them. Ambrose, when you turn around, there is a small group of Romulans in the hallway that are wearing very distinctly different clothing. It is clearly a different uniform than the ones that are, that you've been seeing. And they are firing disruptors at other Romulans in the hallways. And in fact, one of the Romulans just disintegrates as, because they're not fucking around.
Okay.
They're, I'm going to go ahead and use my escalation threat here. And then another one, because we're set to kill here.
Can I assume that means that my Klingon disruptor is also set to kill?
Doing so does give me escalation. So it gives me the threat for doing it. But yes, you can absolutely set it to that if you want to. Klingons don't really have stun.
There's no benefit for setting it to kill. Like, it's not.
I suppose. I was just asking narratively if they were already set to kill.
They don't really have stun settings. So.
Right. And we're talking Romulan, not Klingon, right?
Yeah, either one. They don't.
Okay.
Neither one of them really have stun settings.
Right. True.
They just do a shitload of damage. One of the things I don't like about the game is that there is no difference between stun and lethal. But that's a thing we can talk about some other time. So what are you gonna do? You're shooting is what you're doing.
Yes, shooting is what I am going to do as soon as I find my shooting cheat sheet index card.
Difficulty's 2.
Difficulty 2. Okay, so many things open at once. That is a.
It is
daring security, control security. One of those.
Control security because it's a range weapon.
Control security.
Oh, there's my sheet right there. Declare lethal or non-lethal attack. Doesn't matter. It's lethal because it doesn't have non-lethal. It's an opposed. That's a melee attack. Range attack is just, you just mess them up if it's ranged.
Yeah. Go ahead and take another threat for my daring. That's what I'm doing here, right?
Mm-hmm.
We skip 1 week and I completely forget how this game works.
It's not daring, it's control.
Right. No, my feature, it's not called daring, it's called bold.
Security.
That's what it is.
Bold security,
bold,
right?
Bold,
yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And I can re-roll one of these. I'm going to re-roll that 17 because that's not helpful. So 4 successes.
Okay. Yeah, you hit with 2 additional momentum. So go ahead and roll damage.
Okay.
The disruptor damage, I think, is 5.
Double check it.
I think it's 5. Might be 4.
I think it's 3 actually.
For a disruptor rifle?
Yeah, I'm double checking.
Well, a type 3 is 4 plus security, right? Because I normally roll 9 dice, and I would think a disruptor would be higher. I could be wrong.
I think it's the same, but it has vicious at something.
That could be it. That could be it.
I don't have the book in front of me, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I do. It's 4.
4. And what are the qualities of the weapon?
Vicious 1.
Vicious 1. Okay.
And accurate. It has accurate too.
Okay. So vicious 1 basically means when you spend an effect, it does additional damage.
Well, if you roll effect, it does additional.
If you roll effect, yes, and you then spend that threat to do, or that effect to do so. So
Well,
go ahead and roll damage. It's be rolling the same number of damage that you were rolling before. So it'll be 9.
You just you don't spend effect; it just triggers. So
Yeah, you can choose not to use them though.
no, I don't think you can.
Pretty sure you can, but that is not really relevant to the conversation currently. So
Sure. Okay, so you're telling me to roll 9 dice.
yes,
That's what you're telling me.
nine d6s.
Gotcha. 96s.
And that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with
And two
two
effects.
effects. No, you're actually rolling them correctly, so I can just read the thing.
Yes.
7 and 2 effects, which I assume you're going to use for vicious. Because that would give you 9 damage, and then you still have 2 momentum to spend. Which would either, yeah, go ahead.
I mean, we're not fighting augments anymore, so I don't have any reason to believe they would have any armor, right? They don't look armored.
They don't appear to be armored, and Romulans I don't think are normally considered armored.
Yeah. So I'm just going to use one of them to bump that up to 10 damage, just to get increments of 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have one more that I'll either bank or use to take another minor action. We'll decide after this goes through. So I do 10 damage to it.
Okay. 10 damage. That guy vaporizes. He's dead.
Okay.
Super dead.
Am I in a position of cover where I'm at?
No, but you could easily take cover.
Okay, yeah, I will take cover.
Okay, then you're gonna bank that momentum.
Yeah, let's bank the momentum.
Okay, for damage effects, they're always triggered. I was thinking for something else. I was thinking in general that you got to choose, but for damage effects, it totally makes sense.
With phasers, you can't because they have charge, which lets you change the settings. So it doesn't always have to have vicious, but
right.
Disruptors always do. So
I think that's kind of where I was thinking is on the phaser side. But
yeah.
so okay, so you bank that momentum.
Yes.
They return fire. We'll just do one round of combat for you guys for here, and then we'll go back to the other ship. One of them fires and misses at Ambrose. Go ahead and what are you gonna do, Mills? Or Chirka?
I will also fire.
Okay. You're gonna take cover, or you're gonna stay out and then take cover afterwards? Just order of operations is all.
We take cover and then.
Okay. You guys are all getting 2 dice for cover, if you're in combat. So go ahead and give them a roll. 2 dice. Control and security.
Yeah. Just wondering why I seem to be missing a focus. Oh, I must have axed that. I thought I had hand phasers as a focus. Apparently, I thought wrong.
That'll learn you.
I guess.
Those are dark dice.
They are.
2 successes. That's a hit.
Success.
Go ahead and roll damage.
That's with the disruptor, I think.
Yeah. So it's still 4. 7 and 1 effect, so 8 damage. That guy, you hit him, he gets slammed against the wall and kind of slumps to the ground. Probably not dead, but close enough. Another one of the Romulans comes around the corner and fires. This one's going to be shooting at, I don't know, a random person. Doesn't matter. I miss anyway. So yeah, I missed. Chirka, you got an action if you want to use it.
Yeah, Chirka is going to move to like a panel and try and activate the. I think it's safe to say the Romulans have some kind of containment fields, like on Starfleet ships.
Probably.
So she's going to try to activate them and try and give advantage to her allies on defense, if possible.
Okay. So just doing a crate advantage.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right, go ahead and make the roll.
It's security plus damage rating, right?
Security plus weapon damage rating. So the weapon rating is 4.
I have that in wrong?
Use momentum, and I'm still rolling wonderfully today.
That's one success, right? Or is that two?
That is, let me see if I have any focuses that apply.
I don't see one. Research, sensors, astrophysics, system maintenance,
Yeah.
environmental, and diagnostics. I don't think any of those count.
I do not either. So,
So,
yep, one success.
all right. So that does not get the shield up because it's a difficulty 2, right? For crit advantage.
Yeah, it's 2 at least.
All right. I will use the complication though. No, I won't, because I want to move on from that. I'll take the doohickeys. Another Romulan fires at one of your secondary dudes. And roll. No, that was weird. So 2, that hits. Roll damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 damage. I don't have any additional. I'm going to spend a threat to add 1 more damage and just kill that guy. He's dead. He's vaporized. One of your Starfleet officers has been vaporized.
Yeah.
He was moving up to take cover next to Mills and takes one right in the chin and is vaporized. That fight continues. Let's go back to this one over here.
So I'm going to take a moment to calm Martok, and I'm going to tell him my thinking on this. They are obviously trying to corral us to the. They're obviously trying to corral us to the nebula like we're a couple of bullying yaks. We can't let them do that. I'm going to. The Europa is going to move in. We're going to change the momentum of the battle. I want you. Could you cover us?
Martok just kind of, as the ship is shaking on the screen, do what you must, Captain. I'm with you.
He'll nod and then
He used to have a much better Martok voice.
Point to his officers and say, "Let's do it."
All right.
And, yeah.
Take your first action. What are you going to do? How are you going to make this play out?
Let's try a Picard maneuver.
Okay.
We're going to go to warp and come out of warp closer to them, so that way they are temporarily aware of 2 Europas, and we're going to try and hit the ship before they realize what's happening. I'm sure it'll put us in danger in the long term, but it'll give us a good surprise sucker punch.
Okay. Also going to be a pretty difficult role to do in a mass combat. So let's say the difficulty is going to be base of 3, and then I'm going to spend some threat for upping the complication range. I'll up the complication range by 3.
Okay.
Go ahead and make that roll, Silva.
All right. I'm going to spend a momentum as well as 2 threat to roll 4 dice on this.
Okay.
And hopefully my focus applies. Does my flyby attack also apply on this? It increase whenever I used swift task momentum. Well, that's only if I use the swift task momentum spend.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so not really. But come on.
Oh.
What is that? 1 success?
Yeah.
And a complication. All right. You power up and institute the Picard maneuver. It kind of works. The Klingons are firing phasers at the original target. However, you are extremely close to one of the other ships when Martok's fleet is moving in to attack it, to give you a little more cover and to assist as they were going to. I am going to let's see here. I'm going to impose a complication. I'm going to say that your warp core goes offline. You still have power, like you still have all the reserve power, but you can't actually go to warp for a little while. Something has been broken in the system, and you cannot go to warp again until that is repaired. Which obviously Coaster and company will be working on, but yeah.
I would like to spend threat. I would like to generate threat to keep the momentum.
Okay. That case takes 2, right? It does.
Yeah. I do want to go a little bit narrative here for a moment before that turn, though.
Sure.
Jorad is going to turn to Mills, and he's going to say, we're not going to win this without Eva's help.
Not Mills, but O'Connor.
I got you.
Yeah, sorry.
I agree, sir, but this does run the risk of creating more complications than it could help if she decides again she's being violated.
Maybe I wasn't clear. That wasn't up for debate. That was. Let's bring her out. Let's bring her back online.
Yes, sir.
You could call Tong to do that, because I assume you don't want O'Connor running off the bridge like Mills did before.
No.
Yeah,
Right.
No, O'Connor wouldn't run off the bridge.
Yeah. Oh, O'Connor probably just message, Tong.
Yeah.
Hey, Tong, go do this thing, please.
Do the thing. Bring your friend back.
Okay.
And so using that us keeping the initiative, can Tong now go?
Yeah. I was actually going to keep that as just a narrative thing so the ship can still go too. We cut to Tong, who is in engineering, putting something back together, and then noticing that the warp core goes offline. Not the warp core goes offline, but the warp power to the engines is now offline. So the engines are now offline. The main engines are offline. And Coaster, likely yelling at him for that, gets the message from O'Connor. Go ahead, O'Connor. Give the message if you want to. We'll role play back and forth there.
So she just sends the message. It's time. Bring Eva back online. Minimally as you can.
Right. Okay. Yes, sir. Right away. I'd throw whatever I'm doing to the side and run and grab like a whole bunch of tools and like all kinds of wires and whatnot, because we completely severed the connection between the what are we calling it? The yacht, whatever it's called.
Yes.
And the ship. So I got to like splice things together real quick.
Right. It's going to be some work.
So I'm running down the hallway just laden down with all kinds of crap.
All right.
As you're running down the hallway and like running through in your mind, I'm certain trying to plan out how you're gonna do this. O'Connor chirps back in. Sorry, I should have clarified. On a leash.
The captain will belay that order. I want her fully operational.
Aye, sir. Right away, sir.
Okay. So Tong is off to do that. We'll come back to that scene. So the ship, Europa still has an action. Tong is off going to do that thing. It's going to take him a little while to get that all set up. So what are you going to do? Actually, you know what? Oh, you kept initiative, so you can go ahead and go.
Yeah. I would like to. I mean, we're not doing like official starship combat, so
We're kind of half-assing it because I do need to do damage to the ship at some point. I'd like to be able to do damage to the ship at some point, not just narratively.
I mean, if we're doing starship combat, I would like to fire.
All right.
Could I just ask, when the Europa did the Picard maneuver, did the fighters like shrink down into the warp bubble, or are they like way on the other side of this battle right now?
You would have been left kind of on your own.
Cool.
So.
I imagine you would still be with the Klingons. So
yeah, you're with the Klingons. You're not like totally abandoned or anything, but
sure. But even a Picard maneuver is a big jump.
It's a pretty good jump.
Yeah, I mean it's like 0.5 seconds of warp 9, but that's still like planets away.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
It's significantly far away.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's at very least extended range from where you guys were.
Mm-hmm.
Or long range. I think you can do it within long range. But still, yes, you guys are basically just there with the Klingon fighters, the Klingon ships now.
So you can go. I don't particularly.
All right. Yeah, the Europa fires does significant damage to the ship that you had jumped in on, and then they're going to return fire. 2.
You are rolling way too well for my liking.
Well, I'm not rolling very much, so like I'm not rolling very often. So
it doesn't matter if you keep rolling like you're rolling.
That's true. Damage on this ship is 8. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? That's 3, 6, 7, 8. There we go. 30. No, wait. 1. That's a crap roll. 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 damage and 2 effects, which I'm going to use as damage. I don't have any resistance, so the resistance applies. Yeah.
How are you using those effects as damage?
Their weapons have essentially vicious.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 5 of that is taken away from scale, so I think we take 2 damage to our shields.
Right.
No.
So shields are down to about 50% or so, but you're still doing pretty well. Things are all things considered, you're in there. However, you are now farther away from allied ships, and you don't have the fighters to guard you anymore. So things are going to get a little dicier going forward.
Can we say that since this is a plan, I can roll to give advantage to those people? Because part of this plan was to give the Klingons and the fighters an advantage because they're now flanked, basically.
Right. Yeah, definitely we're going to take advantage of it's definitely shifting the way that the combat is progressing. We're not rolling a ton of rolls, but yeah, essentially yes, we'll have some level of advantage.
Okay.
Jisa, what are you and your people doing now that the Europa has moved? As you watch it warp away.
Right. So we're still in the thick of the battle, whereas they warped towards one of the edges.
They warped towards essentially an edge. Yeah, they were essentially attacking one of the other larger ships, I'm assuming.
Okay, so basically right now we're kind of in the thick of Martok's fleet.
Yes.
And they're all kind of engaging on their own.
Kind of, yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
They're at long range from you. You could reach them, but that would be all you were doing.
Right.
I think you're pinned between them and the nebula too.
Yes. Yes, you're on the nebula side, and the Europa's on the planetary side now.
Okay. So they're trying to corral the entire fleet into the nebula. What's going on.
Yes.
Okay. I don't think these fighters have very good sensors. We took out most of the sensor equipment for extra weapons. So could I just get like a tactical assessment? Does it look like the Europa is going to be able to stand toe to toe out there without Martok's fleet?
I mean, long term, probably not, but depends on what Hage has got planned next. Like, it's definitely sown some confusion, and since the majority of the Klingon Kargan's fleet is attacking Martok's fleet, they'd have to disengage and turn to face the Europa, which would disrupt their plan, which is likely what he's trying to do.
Yeah. I would like to try to discreetly move all of my fighters, kind of swarming around various Klingon ships, and position them to a point where I might be able to catch them in crossfire. So when Kargan's fleet breaks to go after the Europa, my fighters, which are smaller and more maneuverable, can break and follow them and pin them between the fighters and the Europa.
Okay, so you kind of want to go out to a midway point.
I want to get into a staging ground to launch into a midway point.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and give me a piloting roll.
Okay.
Say difficulty is going to be 2, and I'll jump the complication range by 1.
Okay. We called that control con. I need
Yeah.
to go back to Jisa. Where are you at, Jisa?
We'll say if you hit a complication, we're going to say that you're going to suffer some attack.
Okay. What kind of talents and focuses and whatnot does she have? I have so many windows open right now. Let's see. She has
Jesus, fighter craft, warp fields, and electronic warfare.
I did just give her, whenever she last got her last upgrade, precision evasion. That doesn't sound like what we're doing here, but I'm gonna have to look up what that means. Yeah. Okay, so let's just roll this.
I don't see that on the sheet here either, so I'll make sure that gets updated on the sheet.
Sure. Well, that's a big load of nothing.
Big load of nothing. And in fact, oh no, it does not. Still doesn't hit the complication range because they only raised it by 1. So lucky you.
His ship should still assist on that.
Oh yeah. Well, it doesn't matter because you got 0 successes. Ship doesn't do anything if you get 0 successes.
No, I think no.
No,
an
assist requires at least 1 success.
At least 1 success. Yeah.
Yep. So no assist there, although that ship did pretty good. You were flying it quite well, except you didn't get into position. So
right. Too many Klingon ships to weave between.
Too many Klingon ships to weave between. Too much is going on. I'm going to go ahead and do 1 more round of combat here and then jump back. So I'm going to say the fighters are attacked. That is a hit. Oh, wait. It is not a hit. Because these are small fighters. So the difficulty is actually 3 to hit the fighters. So that is not a hit. All right. So 1 more attack on the Europa. That's a hit. Although barely, because 12 is the maximum. Still not a great roll. 1, 2, that's 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It is really, that's much better. It's 11. Minus the 5 for the ship, so that gives you 6. So that's a breach.
Fine.
Let's see. You have the breach chart in front of you by chance? You don't, do you?
I'm bringing it up now. Yep. What'd you roll? 3?
3.
That's engines.
Nice. Excellent. That's what I wanted.
Ship loses 1 power at the end of every round until the effect is repaired.
Yep. That with the complication added on, you guys are draining power pretty quick from the ship. Plus the car mover would use power, but nonetheless, the engines take a breach, the power flickers, and we'll jump back to their ship real quick. Unless you guys said something else you wanted to do. You can think about it too as well. We go back to their ship if you want.
I mean, I have tons of stuff I want to do. But,
all right,
but,
we'll come back to it. Back aboard the Romulan ship. The sick bay has been secured from your shooting at everyone. More wounded are coming in, and you can hear the ship is maneuvering in a way that it's maneuvering hard, so it's having a hard time maintaining inertial dampening. Anything else you guys want to do while you're here? Did you want to try to make it to the bridge, to engineering? Did you want to stay fighting in the sick bay? What did you guys want to do?
Is the sick bay defended otherwise?
There are guards coming in. You also have your security guard that could assist, and it is not defenseless anymore. It was definitely taken by surprise on the previous round, the previous scene.
Okay.
If I go up to a wall panel, is there like a clearly labeled button for contacting the bridge?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna calm. I'm going to calm the bridge. I'm not going to say who I am, but I'm sure she's going to recognize my voice. I'm just going.
Sure.
Sub-Commander, the infirmary has been secured. We have it under control. Do you need assistance?
Anything you can offer at this point, Commander. We're trying to get a message out to the Europa to let them know the information that we've discovered. Perhaps that's something your team could do.
I have a quite proficient tech with us. I'm sure she can take a look at the comm systems. I'll head that way.
Excellent. We're doing our best.
Wow, who's this proficient com? Oh, you mean me?
Yes, Cherka Mills, you're with me. I'm gonna grab one of the preferably the escort we had, if he's still all right and not a pile of goo somewhere.
Sure.
Take us to your comm systems.
He kind of nods and gestures to go this way. You make it through the hallway. You're making your way through the hallways. You see a lot of bodies and splotches where bodies were probably supposed to be from both sides. There's a little bit of hand-to-hand fighting still going on, or hand weapon, close quarters fighting going on in the hallways. But for the most part, it's relatively contained. Clearly the shields must have been down and gone back up, so there's nothing more coming aboard. You get to one of the doorways that is labeled in Romulan. If you speak Romulan, it definitely says, one of the communications chambers. He gets the door open. He tries to get the door open. It doesn't open at first, so he grabs, the one thing and help me force it open. So if someone wants to help. All right. Give me a strength, whatever that equivalent is in this game. Fitness and either engineering or security. I'll take either one.
I'll use 30.
One success, because you're a total badass. 14's a hard one to get. All right. You manage to struggle, but the door gets open. As the door opens, a lot of acrid, that's the word I'm looking for, acrid gases come flowing out of the room. There's definitely been some sort of contained plasma fire in here. But he steps into the room, ducks down and covering his face and gestures for you to come in. He turns on the light on the end of his disruptor rifle and begins flashing around, making sure there's nobody that you can see. And then gestures, once he makes sure the room is clear, which I'm assuming Ambrose is going to assist with. And the room is empty of living beings anyway. There are several bodies, and there was what looks to be a fairly scorched panel. The panel next to that, though, is the one he gestures Chirka to. So,
Cherica
The ship needs to be able to get a communication off to the Europa. I need you to boost the signal, preferably encrypted, but at this point, I don't think it matters.
All right, well, I'll do what I can. And I will generate a threat to roll another die.
All right. The difficulty is going to be, well, it doesn't matter. You got one success. Or is that two?
Yeah, that's two.
Okay. Yeah, you managed to get a non-encrypted message configured. The array configured for a non-encrypted message. You get some signal boosted.
Okay. Channel's open, Commander. Say what you need to say.
You can also do a tricorder dump with this. So you'd get all the tricorder information you guys had could be dumped to the Europa.
Well, we can definitely do the tricorder dump, but we might as well send a message as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was just saying, just so you definitely have a channel to. You have the ability to have a channel to the Europa if you want one.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure all of our data is. You know what? Because this is unencrypted, I'm not going. I'm gonna hold Jericho off. Don't send that information. I'm just going to send a short message. Europa, mission successful, more or less. We're dealing with the less right now. We should be able to rendezvous shortly. Hope everything is all right. And I am then going to see if we can patch it up to the bridge and let Toshari know if there's any more, tactical information she would like to relay.
Sorry, say that last bit again.
I'm gonna. It sounded to me like Toshari's had something she was going to relay to the Europa, so I wanted to.
Just data. She's trying to send the data to the Europa of any information that she got from scans and stuff like that. Just so because that was part of the mission was to make sure that the Europa got the information. Evidence.
Okay. In that case, we will send over all of the data, the tricorders and sensor readings and whatnot. Sure.
All right. So
we're gonna get the sub commander executed.
Absolutely, yes. So Hage, that message comes through. It's an open comm line if you guys want to have a back and forth. You're welcome to. But that information is coming through, and all of the evidence that you guys acquired is also coming through.
And we're days away, right? Like we're actually not going to be able to rendezvous anytime soon.
Probably not quickly.
Okay. Right.
Although, yeah, I mean, a direct intercept to the combat is not probably going to happen.
Right. Yeah.
But I suppose if you were actually rendezvousing, it wouldn't take quite that long. If you were meeting in the middle,
meeting them there, yeah. So I'll retcon that since it is an open communication. Captain, our mission is successful. Information coming through the Iconian threat should be neutralized for the moment. I'm sending over information that should at least be valuable to yourself and Kargan. There's enough there to uncover this whole operation.
Good job, Commander. And then he'll get the message uncharacteristically short because they're in a tight spot.
Middle of a combat. All right. I'm going to take 5. I got some messages I got to accommodate. So let's go ahead and take 5 and come right back.
Okay.
All right.
Click the wrong button. All right, that 5-minute break that took 10 minutes. We're back. So you just transmitted the data to the Europa.
Mm-hmm.
Correct? Anything else?
Yep.
The 3 of you wanted to do aboard this ship. Otherwise, we're probably going to not do much else with you guys unless you have something else you want to do. Not right away, anyways.
Yeah, I just want to be whatever help we can be to help keep the ship secure.
Right.
So wherever either Toshari or this guard that's escorting us knows, if there's particular places that need defense, that's
right.
what we'll do.
Back to the main conflict. Actually, before we get to the main conflict, let's go back to Tong.
Me? Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Tong. Where's that at? Let's go to AI access control. Bam, there we go. Tong in AI access control. Things are cleaned up in here. Things are nicely stowed and done correctly in the Starfleet fashion, which may or may not slow things down and getting put back together. So go ahead, and we're going to make this an extended action. That way we know we're just going to take more than one round. I'm not going to get too carried away with it, but let's say the difficulty is going to be 2. The work is going to be 12. Nah, we'll do 10. The resistance is going to be 1. If I can type with one hand, resistance is 1. I don't think I'm missing anything other than interval. Interval will be 2 rounds. That way we'll do 2 actions, and then we'll come back to seeing what you can do. Hopefully that's sufficient to get my timing done. All right, go ahead and give me a roll to try to begin reassembling Eva's pathway so she can dump back into the ship and control it.
Okay. So that's control engineering, I assume.
Yes. Actually, this should be a gateway task first. Tell you what, give me just a basic engineering task to make sure that you can get the connection going back to her. Then we'll do the extended task starting next round. So go ahead and just give me a basic engineering and either daring if you're trying to do it fast or control if you're trying to do it correctly. And jury rig if you have it. Or AI if you have that.
No, I don't think I have any focuses, unfortunately. Not yet. Okay.
Tong has not yet gotten focuses.
No. Yeah, Tong isn't very focused. He's kind of manic, but he does really try hard to do things correctly. So he does use control. You have
focuses, just none of them apply here.
Right, correct. Yeah.
Transporters, electroplasma systems, and item appraisal. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think electroplasma works for this.
No, not for this.
What's the difficulty on this task?
Difficulty should be 2.
Okay.
This is basically just reestablishing the connection that was the last connection suffered, so that you can get her back into the system, and then you can go through and with the extended task and give her control back to the things.
Right. Well, without any focuses, you already have. We're in the same problem as the end of the last fight. You have so much momentum. I might as well just keep giving it to you. So go ahead and take another one, and I'll roll with 3 dice.
I'm about to spend 6, so you know.
Cool.
There's somebody who could totally help you. They're just tucked away, all sad and alone.
Who's that?
I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Teketh, yeah. 3.
She shot me. No. She shot me.
Only a little.
3 successes.
He said sorry.
1.
Cool.
Yes. Okay. Sorry. My brain. 3 successes. You absolutely succeed. Eva is uploading back into the main core. You have 1 momentum just to use later. Starting the next time we do rolls will be the beginning of that extended task. So.
Okay, Eva, time to wake up and hopefully play nice. We're kind of in trouble, and I know that it's not great after we locked you in somewhere and to ask for help. But I really hope you can help us because things are happening and the ship's shaking. And I'm just going to plug you back in now. Okay.
Thank you, Ensign. I appreciate your efforts. The sooner we get this completed, the sooner I can assist. Take a deep breath. And then we'll go back to the main bridge. All right. So the combat currently sits at you have managed to shift. You had managed to shift things with your Picard maneuver. You've split the party. You split Kargan's forces a bit, and things are getting kind of more confused for Kargan's forces than before. Jisa tried to get to you, or at least try to get to a position where things were going to turn around. She could better defend you guys in a crossfire. However, she was not able to make that trip, and Kargan's forces are pressing on the Europa. The ship is taking a fair amount more damage. Shields are in the teens now. Still not a lot in the way of breaches. Just engineering and all that stuff. You've gotten some sensor damage and things like that, but nothing significant. Nothing, super significant anyway. What are you gonna do at the beginning of this round? The beginning of this narrative phase. This round is not really accurate.
I mean, is it safe to say that we are trying to get our shields up? Normally, that's a turn.
Yeah. Things are happening in the midst of combat. Like, it's not.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. It's a thing that's happening over and over and over.
All right. So we're going to go full defense, I think. We're going to orient the ship to maximize defensibility, shift power to shields, away from shields into weapons, since we've got a power issue. And
wait, hold up.
Mhm.
Because you just said two different things. You said shift power into shields and then shift power
From
away
shields
from
to weapons.
shields into weapons. Which are we doing?
I'm sorry, I meant from weapons into shields.
Okay,
Gotcha.
That's what I thought. Wanted to make sure.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I got what you were going for, but correct.
Yeah. And then Kostra will try and get the engines back up and running. They're disabled currently.
Okay. You also did get an information dump that does have actual evidence in it of the things that you've been trying to convince Kargan of this entire time.
That is true.
I am going to spend 6 of my threat.
Okay.
I had 8, right? So that leaves me with 2.
Yeah.
From the Nebula side of the combat, which is where Jisa and Martok people and whatnot are, a new group arrives. Actually, no, I'm going to go from the other side. From the Europa side, coming in from out of warp, is the IKS Wrath and about 30 other ships. All of these are the newer type. They are all the ones that are most so closely associated so far with the augmented ships. And they are just laying into Martok's people and from what they can from this area. And the Wrath is going to take aim at and attack the Europa.
Okay.
I'm going to spend my last... Well, not my last. I'm going to spend another threat for 3. And that is 3 successes. So, the IKS Wrath hits, gets 1 momentum, which I'm going to use for piercing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, that's 6. 8, 9. 9 demeasures, or 9 dice for demeasures. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 demeasures. With a resistance of 2, which means they reduce it by 3, which is 4, correct?
Wait, the resistance is 5.
Reduced by 2 because I spent the momentum on reducing it by 2.
Oh, so you're saying, yeah, okay. Yeah.
So that puts me at 4. I'll spend my last momentum to make it 5 just because I want another breach.
Okay.
If I can get one. And that is going to be another roll. And 4. I assume that's also engines since 3 was engines last time.
That is also engines, yes.
Another breach on engines.
Okay.
As the hit rocks the ship, O'Connor looks up. Sir, we found the Wrath.
I'm sorry, we found the what? Oh, we found the
Wrath.
Good eyes, Edson.
right? Wasn't sooner.
We'll open a con channel to General Kargan. Well, let's see if he'll listen to reason now that we have some additional information for him.
Ship. I don't remember which one I had the wrath being. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So you open a hailing frequency to Kargan. NPCs. That's Marjad. He's dead. Kargan. Okay. He comes back on the screen. What is it now, Captain?
Kargan, you need to listen to me, and you need to listen to me now. Several of my men have already given their lives to get this information to you, so you damn well better look at it. I'm sending you information about your friends, your Klingon friends, in Romulan space, cooperating with them and looking for super weapons on the Iconian homeworld.
I assume you're just sending it, so
Yeah.
Give me a presence and command roll. Because of roles that you guys and things you've done earlier in other sessions, your difficulty is going to be 1.
Okay.
And I have no threat to change anything, so
I will still spend a momentum. All right. Well, that is 3 successes.
3 sets, 3. Is that what you said?
3. Yep.
All right, so you get 2 momentum back. Kargan looks at the information you're sending in, looks back at you, and he turns his head just as you can see he's about to give a command, and he turns his head, and the screen goes dark. The Wrath begins to move in a little farther, and it's beginning to put more pressure on. Not the Wrath. The Wrath's fleet begins to move in and is beginning to put pressure on Martok's fleet. It's intermingling with Kargan's fleet and going forward. A few seconds later, Kargan's ships begin to Mills Koba, I guess would be Koba.
Yep.
Intercepts. Mills is on the ship. God damn it!
Just the
Everybody.
Force ghost of Mills appears. Wait, no,
Wait.
Wrong game. No,
Wrong
that
game.
doesn't work. Blasphemy.
I almost wore a Star Trek hat during playing today, or Star Wars hat. I mean, Koba receives a message or intercepts a message that Kargan's fleet has been given new orders, and they begin to turn on the Wrath and its fleet, which is now intermingled with his fleet. So things are getting very ugly. But Kargan's fleet does turn and is now assisting.
Jorad will let out a sigh of relief, and then he'll calm the ship and tell him, forward. We've got the battle has been joined. We're not done yet.
Jisa, what are you doing now that you've seen that this other fleet arrives? It's taking some shots at the Europa and then begins to move in through the fleet heading towards you. It's pretty much doom and gloom until Kargan's fleet turns and opens fire. So now it is old looking ships versus new looking ships.
Yeah, the plan the plan was to just make a beeline for the Europa because it was looking real bad no matter how it went. So whether she was going to have to fight through Kargan's forces or not, that was the plan. So happily, she's going to be able to go with Kargan's forces. But yeah, she's going to close the distance and get back to the Europa and try to get into a defensive position.
All right. Go ahead and give me another flight check. I'm assuming you're doing combat while flying through and just taking targets as you can. But give me a flight check to get through all this. Difficulty is going to be I'm going to say difficulty is going to be 3. 3. We'll say 3. That's weaving in and out without taking any real damage. If you fail the roll, you'll still get there, but you'll have taken hits.
Okay. Daring Con.
Yes.
Okay. And
you could do control and con if you really wanted to.
No, she's going daring. My general flight craft focus.
Yeah.
And
Oh, your fighter craft focus, yeah.
yeah. And we have the momentum, and the Europa is looking real bad, so I'll buy another dice there. Still only 2.
2 successes. All right, so you're making your way through, but you guys take a hit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Was this something I could set up an evasive maneuver for, or was my
That's
whole
why
action
that's why
just-
your difficulty was higher, was
Okay.
because you're doing the evasives.
Gotcha.
But you're going through an awful lot of fleet, so we're just kind of throwing it forward. Like
I gotcha.
You get a long ways, but you take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So
That's another blown up fighter.
so you're down one more fighter, but nothing. Still making your way through, but you lose one on the way. Not bad for a big combat, one ship. You do manage to make it to the Europa. She's venting plasma at the moment out of the engines. There's a fairly significant pool of plasma vapor around the Europa and the ships that are nearest the Europa. You can avoid it. You can stay out of it, so you're not going to blow up if something happens. But plasma is flammable and dangerous, so bear that in mind. Go back to Tong. Tong, go ahead and give me a roll.
Okay. Switch between Jisa over to Tong. That is a control engineering. Because it's connecting one system to it's still not power related, right? It's just
not
data
power related,
transfer.
yeah, it's data transfer. Yep.
The difficulty was 2, right?
Yes.
I got a good range here. I'm just gonna roll. There we go. That's the 2 I needed.
2 successes. All right. Go ahead and roll your engineering.
Okay, that's what, 2 plus engineering?
I'm not sure the 2 applies, but I think it does. I don't remember.
I think it's just like making an attack, which is 2 plus your
I think
security.
so. Yeah.
So I think this would be 2 plus engineering.
Yeah.
So that would be 7. Not D20, it's D6s.
Oh, magnitude. I forgot magnitude. Magnitude's going to be 3. So that's...
I should set that up under attack. That would make it easier for everybody.
Yeah. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Minus resistance of 1 is 5. That gives you a work of 5. And a magnitude.
And a breakthrough.
Yep. Yeah, whatever they call them.
Well, getting 5 is a breakthrough, and then we get another breakthrough, right? Is that how that works? No.
Only if you complete the work.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Think of work like stress.
Yeah. Yep.
Or shields. Because everything in the game works the same way as combat, basically. Mm-hmm. They just change names and everything. So, in 2 more turns, we can come back to you. You're definitely making good progress. Making good progress.
Nice. Tonga's just there as the ship's rocking back and forth and plasma's venting and things are rocking. He's just plugging things in and just squirts. Yeah, where it's
back to the Europa. Hage, back to the main part of Europa, anyways. Hage, what do you want to? What do you want to do now? You're venting plasma. The shields are still relatively intact. You keep getting them up and they keep going back down, but your team is doing a good job. They're acting quite well. The ICAS Wrath is moving in. It is in the plasma field, or within range of the plasma field. And there are 2 other Klingon ships moving in as well. The Wrath will probably fire again, and the other 2 ships will probably also open fire if they get a chance. Jisa's fighters have moved in to a combat range with Europa, so they're able to help defend. You've still got maneuvering. You've still got weapons, although you've reduced power to them. What do you want to do next?
Malini, Malini Silva is going to turn to the captain and she's going to say, Captain, permission to do something crazy. And Jorid says, I'm not sure now is the best time for crazy. And she says, trust me. And then he nods. And then I would like to do an evasive maneuvers roll. And I think this is going to take the image of firing the thrusters to gain momentum, then disengaging the thrust of the vessel while keeping the defensive side facing the Klingons. So moving away, but still keeping the front of the ship towards them based on, sheer 0G momentum.
Sure. Kind of like a hover around. I gotcha. Go ahead and give me the roll. Let's say the difficulty is going to be 2.
Okay.
If you succeed, they'll get a disadvantage to the next attack.
I'll roll momentum. Well,
your rolls tonight, man.
Yeah, I know.
Not great.
Very annoyed by this. Yeah, that's 1 success. So.
All right.
You know what? Hold on. I, as the captain, can spend determination on my subordinates with a direct order. So I'm going to spend a determination on that. So the difficulty to hit us increases by 1. It's now 4 to hit us.
Okay. Okay. Yes, you don't get that one back because you use it for that. Difficulty is 4 to hit. I don't have any momentum. The Wrath will fire once. And we'll get 2. The other ship will fire. And I can't spend more there. Oh! And then the last one will fire. A 1 and a 5. That's
what makes up for all.
3. That's 4 successes. They don't do nearly as much damage though, because they're a much smaller ship. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They only do 6. No, they do 7. Because it's 2 plus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. And that is 1, 2, 3 damage. That's not very much. So they hit, but the shields absorb all that damage because of the way that Silva's got the ship maneuvered. The shields can take the reinforced shields in that section take the brunt of it. So all's well there. Back to we get another round here before we get back to Tong. So you're making maneuvers that way. Gisa, what are you going to do? The Europa is kind of maneuvering to keep its shields, to keep its strong points of its shields between the Wrath and, its hull. The plasma is still venting pretty heavily. What you gonna do?
Okay. I feel like the Europa is not really in a good position to do anything all that offensive. So I think we're just going to maintain defensive positions, intercepting incoming fire and playing with targeting systems, going the electronic warfare route.
Okay. Give me a control and I'm guessing science for warfare, electronic warfare, or it could be security, I suppose, since it's warfare.
Okay.
Control and security, real quick.
Control.
See if we can jam the sensors of the Klingon ships that are attacking Europa a little bit more.
2 successes.
Okay. All right. So the Wrath is now just kind of firing blindly, but they're firing aggressively, almost manically firing. Back to Tong. Go ahead and give me another roll, Tong.
All right. Control, engineering, no focus. We are all out of momentum and threat. Difficulty 2. I want to make sure this goes through. You know what? Where's that cheat sheet? I want to look something up real quick. Because Tong has some determination, and I feel like I have something for that. What can I do with this determination? I know I can give myself a nat 1 and just outright succeed.
Reroll any dice in a dice pool, perform immediate another task, or create an advantage that applies to the current scene.
Can I spend determination after I roll, or does it have to be declared before?
I don't know what the rule says. I've always let players spend it afterwards.
Okay, so I'll just roll and see how that works. Well, there we go. Nice. 3 successes. I don't need to worry about determination.
Right. So you got a point of momentum.
All right, Eva. Oh, come on, girl. We got you going in. I just need to plug this here and this one here, and you with me even, and there you are. Welcome home.
Give me the roll for the repair.
All right. I still need to roll the damage, right?
Yep.
Okay, so we're not there yet. Tong's jump the gun. That is.
Oh, you're getting close.
5.
Resistance is 1, so that would give you 4, but you have that momentum you can spend.
Yeah, I'm going to spend that to break that.
All right, so that'll give you 5 more.
So that meets
10.
That meets the total. So that's 3 breakthroughs total now.
That gives you 3 total. Yep, that 5 for the 1, and then 1 for the
breaking through all the difficulty.
Right. So that's all 3 of your momentum, all 3 of your magnitude.
Yeah.
So things begin to power back on. Eva is back online and beginning assessments.
Okay, Eva. I'm hope you're comfortable, and I guess help us not explode, please.
Give me 1 second.
I need to practice getting the Ferengi raspiness into Tong's voice. I got the cadence down. I just need to get the Ferengi tone correct.
Sorry, having a conversation. So yes, Eva comes back online and begins starts doing an assessment. And she begins report, like, just listing off all the things that are broken on the ship. She's doing a full damage assessment. She gets back online and says, all sensors are all systems appear operational except for, and then begins listing off certain, like, weapons array 3 and plasma control 4 and some other ones. Then she tells you that warp power or warp engines are currently offline due to a plasma leak on deck in nacelle 2.
Okay.
This will need to be repaired before we can engage warp engines.
Yeah, Tong is gonna.
Engaging warp could result in destruction of it could result in eruption of the plasma, the vented plasma.
Tong's gonna calm the bridge. Bridge, Ensign Tong here. I got Eva back online. She's ready to assist. I need to head over to nacelle 2 and make sure that when we jump to warp, the ship doesn't explode. So I'm gonna go do that. Okay.
Good work, Ensign.
Aye, sir.
Okay. Tong, you begin heading towards that. We'll get to that in a second. So back to the bridge. I gotta get my mouse over here. My mouse needs to go here. You begin back on the bridge. You've got a pretty good defensive posture, but several ships are beginning to move in, as if the Wrath is now like, fuck this guy. This guy's going to die. So they're beginning to move, not just the Wrath, but several other warbirds, or birds of prey, I should say, are moving in what appears to be an absolutely, like, this is probably the end kind of confrontation. Jisa, what are you going to do first?
Seeing this, she knows this tactic. She's used this tactic before. She's gonna come over to all the other ships. All right, they're coming in, and they're coming in hard. We need to defend the Europa. That ship means more than any one of us individually. We need to put ourselves between them and incoming fire. If it comes down to a hit between the ship or you, take it. And we're gonna scramble. And we're just gonna take up a defensive position. And if a fighter needs to take a hit instead of a nacelle or the bridge or something important, we're just gonna dive right into that shot.
Okay. As the fighter squadron begins to move in to intercept, several of the ships open fire all at once. For the most part, well, let's do a little roll here. See where that goes. That roll does not calculate for some reason. Oh, there it is. Okay, 6 and a 16. All right. The ship starts taking some fire. The fighters are doing a good job of getting in the way and clogging up sensors, so the targeting sensors and stuff. So the ship is not. It takes a few hits and it rocks pretty hard, but it's not like it's not exploding in this round. Tong, as you're making your way towards the turbo lift to get there, when the ship gets hit, it rocks and some conduits in front of you explode. You're okay, a little stunned. Your ears are definitely ringing, a little blinded from the flash of light. But what you notice is that the turbo lift that you're heading towards is completely offline, and there's some plasma fires behind you in the hallway. So you're kind of stuck where you're at for the moment until you can get the fire under control. What you gonna do?
How many decks up is it to the nacelle?
It would be down, I think, in this case, but it would be probably 7 or 8.
Okay. Well, down is a lot quicker than up if you can just like slide down.
Sure.
I would like to just erect force fields around the fire and just vent the oxygen.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an engineering roll.
Okay.
Difficulty will be 2.
Control.
Difficulty will be 3 because this section of the ship isn't necessarily designed for that, but you can certainly do it.
Okay. Control engineering. Yeah, this still doesn't have anything to do with power systems.
No.
You're out of threat, and that's no fun, so take another one. Three. There's that nat one I needed.
Nice. All right, so you're definitely getting that done. I am going to then spend my threat to introduce the when the ship was hit that time, the comm systems no, comm's still up. I want to keep the comms up for now. The complication is going to be that the force field is now the force field and the vented space is now between you and the Jeffries tube. So you will have difficulty accessing it. You could be able to do it.
I still need to go down several decks,
yes,
right? Like I could just pop open the floor plating and the turbo lift to just head down.
Oh yeah, you could use the turbo lift if assuming that the turbo lift is actually like assuming that the module for the turbo lift isn't jammed in your way and you have to get through all that. But yeah, you could do it.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
But yeah, the Jeffries tube entrance is no longer available. At least not from here. Other Jeffrey tubes might still be working.
Mhm.
So someone else might be able to get there a little faster than you if necessary, if possible. So with that, you get the damage report on the bridge that there's some fires on the AI control deck. Turbo lifts to that section are offline. Comms are still intact, and there's the plasma fire is being put out by venting into space, which is a thing that is definitely registering on Eva's systems. She would report that. What are you guys gonna do?
I'll calm Tong and see if what's the situation, and said,
sir, there was a minor fire. I have it under control. We have it blocked off, and it's that's under control. It is blocking my way, however, but I have a plan. I should be there in like literally 1 second, or scattered into atoms somewhere out somewhere.
Ensign, I'm not letting the Wrath get away. If you can't get to that engines, tell me, and we'll figure out another plan. We don't intend to be fighting fires.
No, fire's under control. If somebody is closer, they can try. But I got an idea. I'm gonna tie the transporter systems into this wall unit over here and remote myself.
That'll take a turn or two. You could certainly do that. It would be quicker to get somebody there by turbolift if a turbolift can get there, which one from the bridge could. You'd also then be able to beam in or out once you got that site-to-site transport activated from where you are. So if you get up there, if someone gets over there and starts working on it, you may be able to beam in and help them.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
You have access. The bridge could get there. Someone from the bridge could certainly get there faster.
Okay. I was going to spend my momentum just to like power through it and try to just immediately just press a few buttons on the wall and transport in. But if that's not going to work, Tom will tell the captain it's not going to work. No, Captain. Actually, as you know, that's probably going to be more complicated than I would have. You might want to send somebody else, I guess. I'll make my way over there when I can.
Jorad will call down to engineering. Castro will curse expletives and tell him he's too busy trying to keep the damn shields up to do much of anything else. And so Hage will turn to he'll come Desavi to the bridge.
Oh God.
No way.
You have the con. And he's going to go to the turbo lift and just shut the door.
All right. I assume Tong is probably still working on that transporter thing because I think that's a good. I like that idea.
Mm-hmm.
So Desavi,
that was going to be so cool.
Sit down in the captain's chair, muttering to herself that Hage has lost his damn mind, and ask for a status report.
All right, Doctor, win this war for us.
Yeah, you remember that whole, hollow sweet scene we did? That's how this is gonna go down.
You get a report from Eva as you come on the bridge, as you're heading towards the bridge, giving you the circumstances that you're under, the damage the extent of the damage, and everything else. You're actually almost out of power. The ship is without the nacelle coming back online, and you guys getting into a situation where you're where you see things are. You don't have a lot of power left, is what I'm trying to get at.
Right.
Like there's not much here. If the combat continues the way it's going, the Europa will be dead in space pretty soon. That said, you make it to the bridge. Koba and Silva and O'Connor are there, as along with the other people, other ensigns and whatnot that are supposed to be. There's a couple of injured individuals, possibly even dead individuals, near stations. There's rocks everywhere for some reason. There's a heavy haze on the bridge, but the Europa is fairly intact, all things considered. It's just you're leaking power. What's your first order? Jisa is out there too. You can see her fighters. They're hectically trying to cause strife for the Klingon ships that are moving in. But that noose is definitely getting tighter.
Koba, can we find ourselves a defensible position to back into until power is back online?
I think Silva speaks up and says, I can keep doing evasive maneuvers all day long, Captain. I'm flying circles around, or not Captain, Lieutenant. I think we're about as safe as we're going to be.
Keep doing what you're doing. Try and get us some distance.
She'll scoff a little and she'll say, it would help if we had the warp drive.
What do you think the captain went to do?
With that, Jisa, go ahead and give me another difficulty 3 roll to keep the Europa from getting totally owned.
Okay.
And again, failure will result in a hit.
Okay. Take another threat. Fighter crafts. And where's my Jisa page here? Okay. Yeah. Cool. Roll. Nice.
Uh-oh. I just lost
What's
all my
going on?
screens. Stand by.
Uh-oh.
They're coming back. They're just taking a second.
Yeah.
Ooh.
4 successes.
Windows Explorer just decided it didn't want to be Windows Explorer anymore.
Like it
She's
does.
in her element right now.
Make sure I'm still streaming here. All right. Should still be good. Okay. You got how many successes? 4 successes. All right. That'll give you momentum. Fantasy rounds crashed. I don't even track that. So yes, you get a momentum. Keep track. You've got 1 momentum. I have 1 threat until Fantasy Rounds comes back online. You managed to do some evasive maneuvering and scramble most of the hits that are coming towards the Europa. The ship shakes a few more times. Oh, the recording failed. That sucks.
Oh, what the hell?
It's still streaming, just the recording stopped. I think it does that after a certain number of hours because I'm using the wrong form. I need to use a different format recording.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I switched it when I was doing the TikToks. I switched it to doing MP4. I think I switched it back.
Oh,
to
yeah.
MKV.
You can't use MP4. No, MP4
Yeah.
doesn't work.
Yeah.
It cuts off at 2 hours.
Yeah.
Or somewhere around there, somewhere between 2 and 3.
Yeah, 2 and 3. It doesn't matter because we're streaming anyway. So
I would guess 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yep, that's right about that. Yeah. Fantasy rounds died on me. We'll have to do it. Theater of the mind the rest of the way. Hage, you are stepping off of the turbo lift into nacelle control. This is that kind of nacelle control from Next Gen that had the open, or the door that would open up to the long hallway of nacelles, and someone jumped into it at one point and created a weird mystery of murder and trauma, and it was weird. But that's the room that you're stepping into. There is normally a crew in here. However, they are currently all either in sick bay, vaporized, or otherwise not here. Likely due to injuries, or when the plasma leak started, they might have been evacuated. Whatever, it doesn't matter. They're in there. They're not there now. The radiation in the room, you would know because of the way the plasma fires work, is pretty high. It's not a good place to be.
I would imagine not. Luckily, I know this ship like the back of my hand, so I'm going to quickly set about the controls, trying to fix the plasma leak.
Give me 1 second to see if I can fix their cameras since you guys froze up. I think that I can fix properties. All right, you guys should be moving again. Yes, so go ahead and give me the. You were going to do. Sorry, say what you're going to do again. I'm distracted by other stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and to start. I'm going to grab like basically a futuristic fire extinguisher and start putting out the fires.
Okay.
I mean, I guess it would still extinguish fires, so it would still be a fire extinguisher.
Yes.
Yeah. So I will give you a threat.
Okay, so I have 2 threats.
Daring plus engineering.
Sure.
That is. It's not accepting rolls at all.
No, it's shut. It's
No,
because
it's
it's crashed on me. So just go ahead and if you
I
have a
rolled
set of
3
dice.
I rolled 3 successes.
Okay. I'm going to shut down Fantasy Grounds and restart it while we're doing this. So
Okay.
you guys will have to reconnect.
Okay.
And I'll tell you when. All right. So 3 successes. You definitely are starting to get the fires under control. Oh, I see. The problem is OBS is now using all of my RAM.
Mhm.
That's helpful.
Yeah, that's okay. I've got lots of it to go around. So Fantasy Grounds is on its way back up. Yes, the fires are getting under control. You're hosing them down and all that stuff. The radiation in the room is still pretty high from it's residual radiation, of course, but the main door that goes into the nacelle is currently open, but there's a field up. You can see there's plasma fires in there. You can vent those to space and they'll go out. Not a hard thing to do, just someone has to be there to do it. And then you'd have to actually go in there to repair one of the nacelles, to do the actual nacelle repair.
Well, I will do it.
All right, Fantasy Grounds is dead. Is dead to me. Because OBS. All right, you guys should be able to try to log in now.
Working on it.
Yep. Back to the bridge, Dasavi. Things are moving. Jisa is doing a good job of keeping the defense up on the ship, keeping the other ships away. But they're definitely still making some progress because it's only 4 fighters at this point. The plasma is still venting. What you want to do next? You're seeing that like Martok's ships and whatnot are faring okay. Kargan's ships are engaging heavily with the Wrath's ships, but things are going not great, but again, you're kind of holding the line.
Right.
Europa is probably the ship that is at the most risk at the moment.
I will hail. Let's see. I'll give a quick order to Rob, whomever is at engineering.
Kostra.
Kostra, yeah.
So Kostra is like down in engineering, right? Who's at the
No.
engineering station up
Yes.
here?
Correct.
They're probably. It doesn't really matter. It's you basically Kostra is the guy you're talking to.
Random
so.
yellow shirt.
All right.
Random yellow shirt guy.
So I'll give a quick order to him to find some more power and divert it back to the shields. I don't care where you get it or how. And hail, like I'm not even gonna give him a chance to respond. Like that just comes over the comm. You go to respond, you get cut off.
Doctor,
And
he lets out a whole thing, but nobody hears him.
hail Martok. General, right? He's a general?
Chancellor.
Chancellor. Chancellor, I understand you are quite busy with your own things, like with your own side of things here, but if you could spare a ship or even two to help defend us as while we get our power systems back online, it would be deeply appreciated. We're not much good to you if we explode in space.
I will see what I can do. It's not a good Martok. I used to have a good Martok voice. I really did. I have a good Gowron voice. Anyway.
Too bad he's dead.
Too bad he's dead. Yeah.
Stupid Gowron.
I've introduced cloning. I'm not saying he's not coming back.
Ugh,
I love Gowron.
I hated Gowron.
Anyway, I shall see what I can do. And he cuts off the comm, and some ships start trying to make their way your way. Jissa, go ahead and give me another attempted to not have the Europa get blown up.
Oh, we're still doing this. I don't know how long I can keep this up. Okay. Another daring con with a focus and a threat for you. That is two successes this time.
All right.
If this is going to mean, remember my stipulation though. If an attack is coming in, the fighters have been scrambled to intercept that attack.
Correct. That's actually what I'm going with. So
Gotcha.
the fighters are taking a hit.
All right, I lose another fighter.
Depends on how much damage I do.
Right.
Probably, but depends how much damage I do. So 1, 2, 3. I only did 3 damage, so.
Oh, no need.
Fighter takes some damage, but it's not dead. With that, we'll go back to Hage. I should change that a little bit, how I want to do that. But okay. We'll also say the Europa takes a hit, but it won't be as serious. We're in some heavy combat here. That won't do any significant damage. So Europa takes a couple of hits. It's rocking some more. Shields are on the verge of down. Coaster's trying to find power anywhere he can. Pretty much the only place to find power now would be like life support, maybe transporters, although those are probably offline or about to be offline anyway. So, Hage, there we go. I can get some of these characters back on the screen. You are in nacelle control. What do you want to do next? Here's nacelle control. I actually have a map for nacelle control.
Well, I've already put out all the fires, right?
All the ones in the room, yes. You still have that. I'll show you like this room real quick, and then. So here's the room.
Yeah.
That door at the top is open.
Okay.
And that looks down the hallway. There's a force field there, and there are fires in the nacelle corridor. But that, again, that's like floating in space kind of stuff you have to do. So all you gotta do is go to control console, open that up to space, and then you can step out there. But you'll have to go out there. You're gonna need a suit of some kind probably, or you can go out there without one. You certainly could, but it's more dangerous to do it that way.
Well,
But that's where the repair has to be actually made, is in that hallway.
yeah.
The room you're in, though, all the fires are out. You're safe in the room for the moment.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go put out the fires, even if it puts me in danger.
Okay. You have 2 choices. You have 3 choices how you want to do it. Basically, the way I see it. If you can come up with something else, you're welcome to do it.
Okay.
One is you can vent the atmosphere out of what little atmosphere is in there out into space to put out the plasma fires that are out there. And then go out and put a suit on and go out there. You can put a suit on and go out there without putting the plasma fires, which is, you can do that. Or you can put the fires out and go out there without a suit on. Really, any combination of that, really, you could do. Go out there is what you have to do.
I think if I put a suit on, it's going to mean more time with that power, right?
It does.
Yeah. No, that's
and venting the atmosphere into space means if you don't go without a suit, then you're going to die because there's no oxygen. So you could go out there without putting a suit on, without venting the space, and do the work.
Yeah.
Because then you can still breathe. So
I'll do that.
This is going to be 2 rolls. The first roll is going to be fitness and engineering. Difficulty is only going to be, let's say, 2. Yeah, difficulty be 2. You do have determination should you need it.
I don't. I spent it.
Oh, okay.
But I will.
This is basically just to make sure that you can float in space and do all the things you need to do, get your tools and get to the space and start the work. And then we'll have a roll for the actual work.
I will give you a threat. Oh,
That's too many dice.
yeah, I rolled twice.
All right, we'll take
For the second one.
I can take either one, doesn't matter. They're both successes, I think.
Yeah, well, the first one is I don't have any focuses that apply, so it's just 3 successes or 4 successes.
4 with a difficulty of 2, so that leaves you 2 momentum.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you managed to get to the space. It's yes, the repair. You've gotten to the location, and you can begin the repair. We'll get back to the bridge, and then we'll come back to your second roll for the repair, which is going to be daring and engineering, probably. Yeah. Back to the bridge, though. The last of your power is now going. You've got enough to, if you had warp, you could probably initiate warp. But the other ships are beginning to move in even closer. Like they're now a group of them is trying to what appears to separate Jisa and the fighters from you, in order to give a better attack pattern on you. So they're kind of beginning to try to corral the fighters away. Jisa and her crew are doing a pretty good job of preventing that, but at some point you run into other ships if you don't make certain maneuvers, and the Klingons are more than willing to let a small fighter hit one of their ships because they don't care, they've got more. So it's getting to the point where they're aggressively moving in. You get a message, a hail from the Wrath.
Green.
Wow. Starship Europa. It is time that you surrender your ship. You and yours are defeated. Lower your shields and die with honor.
Today is a good day to die, Gothmara.
I suppose for the Federation it is. And then she
Can I?
hangs up on you.
Oh, okay.
What were you gonna do? Because you had time to do stuff. So
I am wondering if there is a way, if I can use telepathy through the comm.
to some extent, I don't know about general manipulation, but we've seen that Troy can at least get empathetical reads from a distance like that.
I mean, full empaths like Waxana can definitely do that, like even from much longer distances.
Yeah. I'm not sure about the actual manipulation of the mind, though. They can definitely do the sensing.
Waxana was interesting because she was like high nobility. She was like top crust telepathic,
Right.
but like every Betazoid is pretty like ship to ship telepathy is no problem for a Betazoid.
Yes. Messaging, yes. Manipulation may be different, though.
Sure. Yeah.
So what you want to do? Like, did you want to get a read on her, or did you want to like try to mess up her mind? What were you trying to do?
I mean, things are pretty desperate at this point, yeah.
They're getting there. Yes.
I would like to try to convince her mind that this is not worth the effort.
Okay. You can definitely sense this presence of augmentations when you do that. They are, they're Borg implants that you can, you get that sense pretty quickly. There's a lot of ones and zeros going on in her brain. The difficulty is going to be 4.
Okay. I will use both of our momentums and give you a threat to get 2 dice. 2 dice? 3 dice? 2 dice.
That'll give you 2 extra, so you roll a total of 4.
Yeah. I don't suppose my focus in negotiations is going to help me here, huh?
No. This is straight up a mental attack, so.
Yeah. Right. What am I rolling? Control and...
Either presence and command or control and command.
Okay.
Or I suppose daring and command, but really control or presence would be the way to go.
Okay. High dice.
2 successes. Okay. You can feel her touching your mind. You can feel you're touching her mind. But whatever that implant is just making her power, her willpower, at least from this range, not.
Remind me, you can't use determination after a roll, right? We determine we have to call it before the roll.
I don't know what the rule actually says, but I usually let people roll it after, use it after, as long as you do it before the description of what happens, which I've just described what happens. So,
right. Okay.
Yeah, so you get that, and you before you have a chance to really buckle down and bear forward with your determination, she shunts you out of her brain for the moment.
Okay.
You can still sense her and all that, but Jisa, you're up.
How damaged is the Wrath?
The Wrath is taking a decent amount of damage. Like it's it's not like on the verge of destruction or anything, but it's better off than the Europa, but it's taken a pretty heavy amount of damage. Mm-hmm. Europa's done a pretty good job of focus firing, and so.
And the Europa looks like it's about to explode.
The Europa looks like it's about to run out of power. Like it's been venting plasma a lot. Like
and as soon as it runs out of power, the shield goes down and then it explodes.
Basically, it's in bad shape once the power goes down. Yes, like damage to the Europa isn't that bad, but it's definitely venting plasma and losing power.
In Jesus' tactical assessment, would the Europa be able to survive one more round?
Yes.
Okay.
Even without power, probably survive 1 round, maybe 2, probably 1.
Okay. I mean, she's just gonna keep doing the same thing. Try to absorb any shots that would otherwise take out the Europa.
Difficulty is still 3. I'm going to change things up a little bit this time though. Difficulty is 3. If you fail, you take a hit, and it's no, I'll do it the same way this time. So you take a hit, and then the Europa will also take a hit. Not a significant hit though. Like it won't be as bad.
Okay.
Because you're still out there doing.
Because I have a plan if it comes down to it, but
ramming speed.
Yeah, exactly. And not just ramming speed, like because fighters, Peregrines have warp engines. So just throw those up to maximum, overload them, and dive on in. So if I need to, she will make that call.
Right.
But it doesn't sound like we're there just yet.
Not just yet.
Okay. So that was same thing as before, daring, con, still difficulty 3? Normal complication?
Yep.
Okay. Go ahead and take your threat. I have my focus. Roll that. Can I keep this streak going? No, I can't with a complication.
No.
I'm taking those threat. I want those. So damage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to the fighter. That fighter is pretty much destroyed because it's probably the same fighter that got hit before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage. Plus whatever it took before that. So you're down 1 more fighter. Europa's going to take a hit. We'll reduce the damage on the hit. That's definitely going to be a hit, though. Let's reduce the damage.
Jesus Christ, your rolls.
I know. Sometimes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll do 6 damage. We're going to reduce the damage by 2, 3. We're reducing the damage by 3 because the fighters were doing their thing. We're rolling by 3 dice, I should say. So I'm rolling less dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7, 8, 9, 10 for the other things. So 10 minus 5 because of the shields and resistance. So 5. That's another breach. I don't really care where this goes. 2. Good God. Probably engines again.
It's not engines.
No?
No, it is computers.
Computers. Okay. All right. Computers take 1. Eva does not like that. She does not approve.
Is Eva actually helping? We're not really doing rules anymore.
She's helping this ship. Yeah, she's not helping you because you're in a place she can't help you, but she is helping the ship.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as we brought her back online for a reason, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. No. That she's also helping. Probably helping Coaster get more power out of like the tethered, the yacht.
She'd be able to assist. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
So where Hage is, he is in a room, but he's in a room that is open right now, right?
He's literally floating in a 0G part of the ship that is between the nacelles. I don't know if I have a picture of what the ship's nacelles look like, but
that's fine. I just need to know that he is inside the ship. He's not
yes,
outside the ship.
yes, he's inside the ship, in the things that make the
ship go,
that make the warp bubbles happen.
Yes.
So,
and you let me know if and or when Tong manages to transport himself into aid.
Yes, I got that planned out. It's going to be a narratively interesting moment.
Yep, I got you.
So, Hage, go ahead and give me the roll for your engineering. Difficulty is going to be 3. This will get the power back. This will get the engines back online and functional, and give warp capability to the ship so they could escape. I am also raising the threat by all that I have, which is 4. So,
all right. I'll go ahead and give you 3 threat to roll 4 dice.
Okay.
That is 3 successes, but 1 complication.
3 successes and a complication. All right. I'm going to use that complication. On the bridge, as you are seeing Jesus' ships kind of making another pass, and one of the fighters explodes. That was last turn. They're coming back around to make one more pass. The Wrath is, you can see it kind of powering up torpedoes, and a couple of the other ships are beginning to move in. When Silva looks up when Silva looks down at her console and sees that power for the warp engines are back online. You don't have more power, but warp engines are back online. You have enough power to warp out.
Okay.
So Silva can say that.
I'd like to narrate the image in the nacelle, if that's all right.
Yeah, sure. I have a thing I was going to do with it, but go ahead.
Oh, I was just thinking. So he's floating in the tube of the nacelle, and I think he sees it start powering back up now that the fire is gone. He's like 0G drifting as the energy increases like 1 divot at a time as it powers up, and the energy just whooshes him out of the tube, and he knocks against the opposite wall of the nacelle control room.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty close to what I was going to do, but I like it. Power comes back online, and you have warp capability.
Okay.
What you going to do?
Silva's the lieutenant?
Yeah.
If we can't. Ugh, I don't want to make the decision. The Peregrines do not have warp. Is that right?
They do.
No,
have warp.
they do.
Mhm.
It's limited warp, but they have warp.
Right.
I think they have like warp 5, like max warp 5.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's
So Dasavi will hail Shijin and say, "Power's back up. Time to go." And then to Silver, Lieutenant, get us out of here. Warp 5.
We're retreating.
Do not question me right now.
Okay.
powering up those weapons or those engines and getting out.
Get us to a defensible position.
Silva, go ahead and give me the warp roll. Difficulty's 1.
So I'm confused at where we're warping to. Are we warping away from the battle or just into a better position?
Away from the battle, I believe, is her order.
I'm just clarifying that.
Yep. The ship's still. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's, defensible position is what she clarified too.
The planet probably is your best bet then.
Okay, so we're warping to a different position within the battle.
It's up to you guys. Like the ship's like you've got the way power works. Yeah. I'm just clarifying for in-game purpose, out-of-game purposes, the way the system actually functions with this. So the ship is basically has enough power to do warp. We have 1 point of power left, essentially, is what it comes down to. You didn't have warp power before. You do now. Mm-hmm. You didn't have warp speed before. You do now. You can warp out of the battle. You're still going to run out of power either way because the breaches that have happened to the engines.
Right.
You can save the ship. You can also, if you wanted to, try to ignite the plasma that has been out in space that all these ships are now floating around in.
How
so you have
many
a few options of what you can do.
Kargans and Martok ships are going to be damaged by that if we do that?
Really not many, because the only ships that are really at risk right now are Jesus ships, and if you let her know that's going on, you can probably get Jesus ships out of there too.
Okay.
Because they've been the Wrath's fleet has been trying to separate and keep others from getting to you. They've been doing not a great job, but an okay job. And now they're trying to separate Jisa from you to isolate you even more. So basically, the Europa can get out. You could, if you wanted to, try to ignite the plasma. That would make the difficulty roll a little bit higher. Jisa would have to get out, but you could really, like, the Wrath is right in the middle of all this. You could probably take the Wrath out if you did it that way. Okay. Maybe do damage to other things. The risk is that you blow the whole ship up, though. Your whole ship, because you fail the roll. So I never.
Let's see how this goes. So as Silva is getting ready to go to warp, some you say, Lieutenant, what are your?
What? Never mind.
No, ahead. Silva.
Yep, I got you.
Is it possible to ignite the plasma as we warp out? Can you do that?
Do that.
It'll mean flooding Tetrions through the ship, but yeah, we could do it.
I can fix that. Right.
Do you want me to roll for this to warp out and ignite the plasma, Jeff?
Yeah, but just makes difficulty 2 is all.
Okay.
And then Dasavi will hail Shijin and let her know we're going to light up the night sky. Get your people out of there.
Which will also require a roll of 2.
Okay.
Give you a threat.
I'll take that threat. Oh, nice. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Nicely done, Silva.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
that is 6 successes.
Yep. So that gives you 4 momentum.
I'm going to buy you a drink when we're done with this woman.
Hold on. Can I use those bonus momentum to add difficulty on the Wrath getting away.
Sure.
So,
How many do you want to spend? All 4?
All 4, yeah.
Sure.
So disadvantage to them trying to escape.
Right. Essentially, their difficulty to escape would now be 4 harder.
Yeah.
So the difficulty would be 6. All right. Jisa, give me your roll
Okay.
to escape.
Daring Khan, I do have a focus in warp field. Right?
In warp, I didn't hear you cut out there.
Warp fields.
Yes, I think you do,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Okay. Yep.
It's 6 threat for you to do something crazy, right? Like
It's
that's
6
your
threat
big
to go
bomb.
to do what?
That's your big threat bomb. You need 6 for that to work.
My biggest one, yeah, is 6. I can do stuff at 4, but I mean, like, really, the big one is 6.
All right, yeah, I'm going to give you another threat.
Okay.
Because I have plans for when Jisa goes out if she needs to go out, but she's going out under her terms. She's not being called in some wake explosion.
Right.
Or maybe she is. Who knows?
Does she have determination?
She does. Can I, if I'm going to use my determination, can I make an addendum to this plan?
You can try.
I'm gonna propose something here. Yeah, I see what they have, what they're doing, and what I want to do, since I have a focus in warp fields, is I want to use these 2 other craft that I have, and I only have 2 remaining, and I want to tie those warp fields together so that Shajin can blow her warp drive, just eject the whole warp drive while it's going critical, which she was building up last turn if she needed to do a dive bomb attack, and launch it in the direction of the IKS and just coast her ship into the expanded warp bubble of the other 2 as they warp out.
Okay. So just
And then
basically just
I can
doubling
blow
the effect of the explosion.
Yeah, and then I can dump my my determination in there, because she has a value. Someone has to make the tough calls, and she's making the tough call. Like, if she goes out, she's blowing up everything in the vicinity with her.
Right. All right. Yeah. That'll give you how many successes does that give you? That gives you
2.
3, right?
3, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a difficulty. I don't remember. I think no, I said the difficulty.
I think
2.
you said difficulty 2.
Difficulty 2.
Yeah. So I have one more just to make sure it all happens.
Yeah, we're gonna use that other one to make sure the effect goes off the way you want. So because that's a pretty interesting thing you want to do. All right.
This is the coolest ship to ship fight, like, in Star Trek history in my mind, like right now. Like, this is the coolest theory of the mind. I love it.
The Europa begins to power up its engines. Jisa drops her warp nacelle, and as the ship goes into warp, as the Europa goes into warp, Silva hits the Tetrion particle burst and lights the plasma on fire. Anyone that was left to see it, so Martok basically, sees this just massive eruption of fire and burning doom and death. The Wrath catches the brunt of the warp core from Jisha's ship. My words out here. Which really messes its shields up, like takes its shields down pretty much, does some damage, and then it's just engulfed in the plasma fire, which then causes when the fire begins to dissipate from the plasma fire, from the plasma explosion, there is nothing but debris and several fewer Klingon ships where the Wrath used to be. The Europa comes out of warp and is drifting over top of Balduk. She's on emergency power only at the moment. Tong manages to finish up his work just as the ship is going into warp, and gets his site-to-site transport using the emergency power from the transporter and cycling some power through the life support that runs the thing.
The thing. The space
God.
thing. The nacelle?
No, the
What were you saying?
replicator,
Okay.
which is where you were trying to get the power from. So you use the replicator to beam. You beam
transporter?
into you beam into the nacelle corridor, the nacelle room where Hage was, and see that the main door to the route to the nacelle is still open, and there is radiation pouring into the room, which you will need to close that door. I assume you do. You can, I should say. I'm not going to assume you do. You do. So there's radiation pouring into the room. You can close the door if you'd like. That would stop the radiation pouring in the room. Hage is lying on the ground by that bottom console there, and he is not presently moving.
I'm gonna look around, see if there's a convenient med pack somewhere. They're all over the ship.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab one of those, and he's going to remember back all the way to episode early in the season when he helped deliver a baby.
The third episode.
Yeah, and throw open the med kit and just scramble around for pulls out a medical, the real basic medical tricorder and a hypo spray, and he's got a whole bunch of bandages under his arm. And he's gonna throw himself over and just start seeing tending the captain. Captain, you're not poking him. You're not moving, Captain. You're not looking great. Help, please, Captain. Captain's down. And he's gonna he doesn't even care who, if it's possible, he's just he'd calm the bridge. He doesn't know who's there right now. He expected the captain to be on the bridge, so he just calms the bridge in total, Captain's down, and he's going to do his best to roll a stabilization or whatever it is.
All right, give me a daring and medicine roll.
Yep. Daring and medicine. Gotcha. Yeah, absolutely no focuses here. This is this is a difficulty of 11.
I'm gonna go ahead and spend all these two. So your threat range is also now going to be quite a bit higher. No, you know what? I'm not gonna do that to Tong.
I think you could spend 5. I think 4 is the max.
6 is the max you can spend. Well, you can go down to a 16 for complication range.
Yeah,
So
4.
whatever that's for, yeah.
Yep.
Either way, I'm not gonna do that to Tong right now. So
Okay.
I'll do that to somebody else. Go ahead, Tong. Give me the roll. You may not be able to stabilize, but you will at least be able to get an assessment of what's going on here.
Yeah. Okay. What do we got? That's 1.
1 success. All right. There's a lot. Your tricorder reads there's a lot of internal bleeding. There's some radiation burns on Hage's face and upper body. There's significant trauma to the skeletal system. He's really, really, really bad. Emergency transporter level bad.
Well, we're out of power, aren't we?
Transporters are down right now.
Transporters are down.
Transporters are, yes, because you use the last of the power to do that.
Yeah, because Tong would have checked that. He would have noticed power go down the ship, and his first thought would have been, okay, it's time to transport. And scrits. Okay, time to be a medic.
Right. So yeah, what are you guys doing next? You get a message from Bridge. Yeah, go ahead. The bridge got a message. That's what I'm going for. Sorry.
Yes. Okay. You good?
Yes, good to go.
Okay. Dasavi will turn to the highest ranking person on the bridge, whom I presume is Koba at this point.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Koba or Soba.
She'll start speaking before her hand lands. You have, and she'll stop the bridge, and she'll calm the sick bay. Define, get me a medical team to Nacelle 2 immediately.
I'm on my way, but the turbo lift is down, at least to
quick as you
this
can.
direction.
Figure it out.
Aye.
She'll rush down to the bridge or rush down to the nacelle.
All right.
Can Tong roll to try to get emergency power to the transporters to get?
Yeah, sure. Go over to the console and see what you want to do. If you can try to get something, or at least talk to somebody, try to get power from somewhere.
Yeah, I rolled that 1 success, which probably is obviously not enough to heal the captain, but I know it's bad enough that I can't do anything. So he's just going to dump all of the medical supplies and just run over to the nearest console and try to reroute power.
All right. Give me an engineering roll. Go ahead, Dasavi. What you want to do?
She's gonna ask Eva the quickest route to the nacelle.
She gives you a quick route.
Okay. Just because it'll put you at that magic number, which is always fun. Here, take another threat.
Okay. Nice roll.
That is 4 successes rerouting power.
Nice.
Tong on power systems and transporters. He's in his element.
You note that there really isn't a lot of power on the ship itself, but Eva is still online because she's still drawing power from the connection that you guys made between the ship and the yacht. Also, you were still running on some emergency power, so you could draw power from that. But yes, you are pretty much. Eva tells you, like, as you're going through, it's like, we can draw enough power for 2 transports from this position. And she points out and tells you this is how you would, how you would do it. But she basically points out you can get 2 transports out of this.
Great. Perfect. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. What you going to do? What you going to transport there, Tong?
Well, she said 2 transports. That sounds like me and the captain to sick bay. Or actually, you know what? I want to. Can I do 2 separate transports? Can I get Hage and the doctor and transport both of them to sick bay?
Yes, you can.
I'm going to do that.
The difficulty will be 3 for that roll. And I'm going to go ahead and spend 2 threat to make the complication range higher.
Okay. Go ahead and take another one.
Eva could probably assist on this roll.
Yes, she can. Oh, very nice. 6.
Tong.
6.
I love Tong.
That is 6 successes. So you have 3 over. That gives you 3 momentum.
Tong even does that. He's pressing buttons and he does the 2-finger slide and he sees them both. He both go and just yes.
Shit.
And
Doctor,
just starts running.
Doctor, you're on your way down to the nacelle when you begin beaming, whilst in motion, and you appear in sickbay next to Hage, who is sitting on who's materializing on one of the beds.
Sorry, Doctor. You should be there by now. I took the liberty of making you right there. I'll be on my way, I guess.
Good call, Ensign. And she'll calm Define. Define, come back to sick bay.
I'm halfway through the turbo lift. I'll be there as quickly as possible.
Tong
Sorry,
has no idea
our
why
little
he's going
our
to
little
sick bay.
Ferengi ensign has come through yet again.
Tong has no idea why he's going to sick bay, but that's where he's going apparently.
That's where he's going. All right.
Can I add a detail?
Yeah.
Hage, his stomach is bulging a little, and like he can see movement.
Give me a roll there, Dasavi. Get your. This is going to be a diagnostic roll to see what you can do. Which can either raise or lower the difficulty of any surgical procedures you would have to do. So this would be an emergency medicine roll, or xenobiology. You have both of those. You have both of those things. 3 successes. That is sufficient. Hage is suffering from severe radiation poisoning, and his body is definitely shutting down. Not only does he have significant traumas and everything else, but the radiation poisoning on top of that. It's possible you could maybe stabilize him, but you're also seeing that the symbiote is suffering from radiation poisoning and is. If Hage dies in the process of whatever you're doing, the symbiote will also die. Okay. Your chances of saving Hage himself, or Jorad, let me start talking correctly here.
Right.
Jorad is in the process of mid to late stage death. Hage, the symbiote, will go with him, obviously, if he dies. It is not going to be an easy chance to save both of them. It's going to be hard to save one of them. It'd be very difficult to save both of them.
Can I reach Jorad subconsciously?
Sure.
So I will just push into your mind.
For the purpose
So-
of being surreal, I think it would be fun to find Hage in his happy place.
Okay.
I actually had an idea. If I
Yeah.
could,
Okay.
if I could explain. So I think, yeah, I think it, like you are on his lake house, the same one that you saw the hologram of,
Mhm.
except you see large tendrils rising from around the lake. So it's kind of like, instead of sky, there's just tendrils there. And as you're there, you see one snap, and then another one, but Hage doesn't even seem to notice them. He's just standing on the pier.
We don't have much time, though time does flow differently in the mind. I know what I want to do. What do you want me to do?
He turns to you, and his face is like callow, and like it looks like his face in real life, in terms of like it's got like burns and doesn't look good. And he says, the symbiote is most important. If it dies, so does hundreds of years of knowledge. If you save the symbiote, you'll save me. And then another of the synapses snaps.
Your people are very secretive. They keep their rituals closely guarded. You're going to have to walk me through this.
Yeah. He says, I contact the Symbiosis Commission. They'll guide you.
How long do we have to get you back to the planet?
Oh, no, my wife is on the Symbiosis Commission. She can help you.
Okay. And she's back at Narendra, as we
Correct.
established last. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. How long can the symbiote survive without you, or without the pool?
Normally, you can put it in stasis, but the symbiote also suffered radiation poison.
It did.
I do not think the stasis will stop the poisoning.
How long do you think we have?
He says, I'm surprised we've had this long.
If it comes to it, I would think, like any other organ, sort of symbiotic organism, with a healthy host, it would have a better chance of healing. How much do we risk our relationship with Trill if I have to put the symbiote in a crew member without permission?
Save the symbiote above all else. Even Trill cannot. Even Trill will understand. They may not like it, but they'll accept it.
All right. You were a good captain, Jorad, and a better friend. And I'm sorry your retirement didn't work the way you thought it would.
He looks back out at the lake and he says, "Tell my family I love them. And take care of our crew."
I'll keep him in one piece until Ambrose gets back.
He
With
says,
that,
"I'll see you soon, I hope."
just gives him a smile and leaves your mind. All right,
Going into surgery.
going to surgery.
1, 2, 3, 4. Give me the roll. Difficulty is going to be 3. No, difficulty is going to be. Yeah, you're just doing you're just getting the symbiote out. So difficulty is going to be 3
Yeah.
just because I raised it 1. Your complication range is going to be maximum, so 16 and up.
Okay.
You have 3 momentum. More dice you roll, the better chance you have of getting complication.
Yep.
I'd say use all 3. Complications are fun, and you want to succeed either way.
I don't know that I want to take your advice on gathering threats, sir.
I would roll at least 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. We'll buy 1. My xenobiology still apply, correct?
Yes. Do you have any with determination left?
I do.
Okay.
I have a plan.
Okay.
If it comes to it.
The ship will also assist with this.
Yes, it will.
Oh, that's not enough dice. I have another one of those.
Roll.
Ah, you bitch.
4 plus Eva succeeds. I guess the 16 does not succeed. Oh, the 16 is a complication.
The 16's a complication.
Is it a success though? Because it can be both.
No.
It is a success because the difficulty was only 4. So you get 5.
Oh, yeah, it's a total success, yes.
Okay.
Yes, and the complication. You managed to extract the symbiote. Hage is still alive, but certainly not going to be for much longer. Especially without symbiote, he's going to certainly die without symbiote. You begin treatment on the symbiote. You will not. The symbiote cannot rejoin. Looking through the stuff and having the information that that Jorad's wife provides upon request. Normally, the symbiote could be hosted in a non-trill for a short period of time. The symbiote is not able to do that right now. It is too badly injured.
I was going to say, this is when Tong runs through the door.
Right.
Right.
So you've got about 3 days with the symbiote before the symbiote will die. To get to the nearest trill that is not already joined is going to take you, that Starfleet advises you of anyways. The trill people advise you of is going to take you almost 2 weeks. So you do not have time for that. Does not leave you a lot of options. With that, we're going to go ahead and end it for tonight, and we can discuss for next time. We'll pick up pretty much and recycle this scene at the beginning of the next session, and then we'll jump to another scene.
Perfect. Love it.
So, all right. On that note, what moment stands out most to you guys this evening?
Whole thing. Like this is my favorite episode thus far.
I think the warp core dump, that was beautiful.
I did like that. I liked Hage's description of being thrown out of the tube.
Mm-hmm. And the tendrils by the lake representing his connection to Hage. That was great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very artistic.
Yep. Yeah, I thought the idea of seeing Hage at the lake house was a really good idea. That's why I figured that's his happy place. And yeah, you took it to another whole level there, Brian. I like that. Anybody else have any moments stand out?
I really liked seeing Onat on the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Thought that was cool.
And I don't know how much of that was Ev and how much of that was Dasavi, but just deer in headlights was what I got.
Mostly
just what am I doing
a little
here?
bit me. God damn it.
This is a similar question, but actually I'll skip that question because it's pretty much exactly the same. Who best embodied their character tonight?
Tong.
I really enjoyed Tong.
Really good.
And I was going to say Hage. Hage was on point.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you.
too. Very good.
I think it was a very good moment for Hage I think being able to change the tides of battle and see Hage doing things like that, I think that was really good. I like that.
Hage Brian really ran with the scene with Hage, and I mean, do we want to post scene spoiler this? Like,
I think it's fairly obvious where this is going.
Yeah, like this was planned.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I love the way that Brian, you ran with the scene and you really took it and you made it a good finale for Jurat specifically.
We had to make a couple of on the fly changes because Tong is too good at what Tong does.
Yeah, I know. Tong was ready to just save the situation. Like, screw your important narrative movements. Tong is saving the day. Secret Agent Tong, right now, every day.
The original plan was for it to have to do with Eva, but you just kept rolling good, and I'm like, we need to figure out another plan.
Can't stop him. Too good.
I had a backup plan, but I really wanted to. The original plan was to have Hage get hurt while bringing Eva back online because
you made a joke earlier in the season about giving Tong a medal, and he never got one.
Yep.
So he's not living it down. He's like, I'm getting my medal.
Oh my god, everybody's getting a medal for this episode. Like Silva's rolls were crazy.
Yeah, the maneuver facing forward and just skirting around, that was great.
Yeah, that and then just the getting out of there, like the roll of what six momentum on a single roll, like that has to look impressive. Like she just did whatever that starburst maneuver is in a starship.
In a ship, yeah. In a what, scale 4, scale 5 ship? Yeah.
Like 2 seconds after we did it, I thought of the perfect description, and I like the idea of like the warp actually causing like a shockwave that lit the plasma on fire and engulfed them.
Yeah. No, this was hands down the coolest ship to ship combat in actual Star Trek. Like I can't think of a cooler like movie or episode that had a ship to ship combat as cool as what's going on right up here.
Well, I liked Jissa in her fighter. I thought you showed a lot of character by how she fought. So
I was this close to dive bombing the Wrath.
I bet, yeah.
I felt that the narrative way was to do this narratively was the only really way to do this and keep it interesting, because I think like rolling dice would have
bogged it down.
Too many dice would have complicated it down too much.
Yeah, this was great. This is perfect.
So I think it's really the way Star Trek is designed to do starship combat. What did you see from another character or player? And remember, this could be player also, that you want to see more of going forward, since we're coming to the near conclusion of our first season. What kind of things are you looking forward to seeing more from other characters or players? I'm going to go with players. I really liked the level of commitment to this episode. I think everyone really did a good job of it felt like some of the early episodes we were doing, where everybody was kind of involved and really was contributing fully to every scene. I thought that was really good. So
yeah, I agree.
We don't always get there.
No, I think this is probably the best episode we've had since John had to back out.
Yeah, I can see that.
I tried to keep the pace moving as fast as I could. I wanted to jump between scenes and keep my energy up so that hopefully that conveyed onto to you guys.
I really like those jump cuts between the Europa and the Romulan ship. That was paced really well. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to do, is make sure that it paced well. So if you could change one thing about this session, what would it be?
I had one thought. I kind of wish the Wrath had been in the first part of the fight too. because
Sure.
it felt like that first part of the fight. It felt like we were a little aimless because it was like we're just kind of floating in water, and I was disappointed when you said that the Wrath wasn't there. I'm like, dang it! I was looking forward to skirmishing with them again.
Yeah.
See, I liked where it came in because in my head we had the like big bad horror movie scene with the music goes as the Wrath just like comes out of the fire smoke and just on scene with all of her fleet.
No, I'm with Ev. I love when the Wrath came in, because in my mind the fight really was Martok versus Kargan. Like that's the core of the Civil War right there. And then the Wrath came in, and they're like they're obviously a catalyst to the Civil War, but they're the big bad. But before the big bad showed up, Kargan was the whole thing, and it was not just a fight fleet to fleet. It was also exactly what you were doing, a negotiation while fighting with Kargan, who wants to be a good guy but is caught under the thumb of the Wrath and all of that. I think it played out perfectly.
I liked Hage's chance to. I liked. So you guys had done stuff throughout the entire campaign since Kargan turned sides.
Mm-hmm.
That I had a set difficulty of what it was going to be in the final battle with this. This is the difficulty. If they don't do any of these other things, Brian's going to make a roll. If he makes that roll, it'll be fine, but it's going to be super hard. But every time you guys do something that gets him a little bit closer, I brought the difficulty down until the very end. And you guys hit every one of the notes I wanted you guys hit.
Can you break that down for us? Or
I have to go through my notes and look,
okay.
But like one of them was like the first time you told him that was going on, and like a couple of different encounters you guys had with him. You reached out and you really tried hard this whole time to get Kargan back on your side, and you never once was like, well, fuck this guy, we're just going to kill him and be done with him. Like, you guys kept pushing the issue of, no, you're on the wrong side. I respect what you're doing, but you're on the wrong side, and time again, and all of those mattered.
Do you have what the original difficulty was? Like, how crazy?
The original difficulty was 6.
Oh, yeah, from 6 to 1. That's great. So no, that was great, because I really did enjoy the Kargan arc and really the Hage and a little bit of Ambrose here and there arc between the captain and Kargan.
Yeah, and that final scene where he turned, where Hage gave him that final piece of information, was like, look,
you listen here and you listen good, damn it.
Yeah. And that, I will tell you, Brian, that the difficulty was 2 when you gave him the info, but the way you role played it brought it down to 1. So.
Good.
Nice.
Thanks.
I have nothing else. Do you guys have anything else you want to add?
Just so good.
I'm very excited to explore the symbiote shenanigans.
I am so looking forward to Hage in a new Trill.
Yeah.
So the next couple of sessions are going to be, we're going to wrap this stuff up, and we're going to let it play out for however long it naturally plays out before we call it the season break. So I'm not going to set an episode limit on it, but it could be 1, 2, probably no more than 2 episodes, I would think, because beyond that, we're probably stretching it out too much. But I definitely want to get some of that in there. When we pick back up, like I said, we're going to pick up we're going to recap the medical scene and then pick up pretty much right from there. And I'll talk with you guys between to talk about some of the things that we can do to make sure that we get where we need to be with the story. But yeah, I like it. I thought this was a really good session. I was not feeling it going into the session, and I think that I told you before, I was winging this episode from the beginning, and I thought it went really well. So.
I mean, the best episodes are the one you just roll with, because they just come out so naturally. Yeah. And the dice don't lie. The dice know what the story is before you even roll them.
Yeah. The dice lied a lot today.
I don't know if I agree with that statement.
I don't know. It built the tension. I mean, all those failures built the tension up until the last minute when everything fell into place. The dice know.
Yeah, that's fair.
I will say at the end, the dice really did come out for you guys. I enjoyed that. And like, I can fudge my dice. I can't fudge your dice. If I have to roll, if I have to do something that changes the die roll, I can do it. I don't do it very often, but I can. But you guys can't. So I really enjoyed it. I thought this was a good session. I'm excited to see the next few episodes, to see what we go with. I'm excited for the role playing that we're going to see in the next couple episodes.
Yeah.
I want to say I am really looking forward to seeing if what comes of the whole Toshari, Subcommander Toshari. I'm looking forward to seeing more of that.
Yeah, that's going to be more of a
That might be next season. I don't know when it's gonna come in, but
that's going to play
so many really cool things happening right now with all these different factions and people.
She's largely I'm going to see where it goes organically, but I have a story arc for her. We'll see.
I felt so bad when we didn't get that encryption off. Like, she's gonna hang for this one.
So, all right. I don't anything else. Nobody has anything else they want to add. We'll go ahead and roll the end credits.
Sounds good.